pressure, giving Bolts the space to get involved if need be. They need to hold on as the rest of the lobby scurries around below. They will take Darkos down. Minori left, fending for scraps, holding on for dear life. It looks like Acorn and Bolts want the dub here.
He is striking them down one by one by one. Acorn and Bolts are in the driver's seat. Minori down below, just a sliver of HP, and it's not gonna last long. Acorn and Bolts and Ace Hope are on top.
And all it took was just that singular moment of these two holding down height. Everyone else just in absolute shambles underneath. Two separate lines of fire, nowhere left to run. So of course the victory royale is all theirs.
Guys, you just got a victory royale in game 4, but it feels like you're just chilling. It feels like you just played a practice game, Bolts, from that reaction.
Nah, it wasn't like a practice game, but you know, we took height in the end and we were beaming a lot of people with our AR, so it felt like a really smooth game.
Acorn, as IGL, what's going through your mind when you're looking up? You're seeing the chaos unfold. What are you saying to Bolts in that moment? How'd you get the timing right?
It was actually him that made the height call. I was just waiting for him to look at it. You know, we were trying to chop it, and then he made the decision, trusted him, and we won the game.
Is that a situation that happens a lot? Bolts, you say, you know what, I've got the instinct here, let me fly.
I would say it's 50-50. Sometimes it's me, sometimes it's Acorn, but in the end, we got the win.
Now, the two of you now on form, on fire, but this is a stacked lobby. Do you think consistency is something you can achieve?
Of course, always got to be consistent. You know, it's a mental game. We're doing bad. We won the game. Now we're back in it to win it.
The mentality is clearly strong and getting stronger with these two. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about all the action so far. Congratulations, Acorn and Bolts!
I got hit with that one off. I'm popping a medkit. Wait, short. Got 6 builds? No, max up. Wait, if you're mid, wait. 100! 100! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Fortnite fam, welcome back to the FNCS Summit. I'm gonna put my NA bias mask back on. NA back on top, baby! That's right, you thought I left NA. Of course not. Me and Baby were in the back. We were high-fiving, we were jumping for joy. I never left. I would never leave you, NA. Sorry about that. I don't know how that got back on my face there. Unbiased Zeke back. Crazy stuff out of Acorn and Bolt.
I'm not going to let you get past that. I've never seen someone switch up so fast so many times. What, EU, NA, EU, NA? I mean, to be fair, it is going back and forth in terms of who's winning these matches, but let's take a look at some of these highlights of Acorn and Bolts. Miniminer, I know you're a fan of this team.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a great team, and a team that we've actually finally seen come alive here in these endgames, finally getting that big win that we know that they can do, and absolutely huge for this team. They were coined as NA's last hope coming into this weekend, and we've seen already that there are other NA teams that are capable. The way they took height here, classic Acorn and Bolts gameplay, really nicely done right there as well. And we spoke about it earlier on about these zones. They were very, very good when they got favorable zones in upper bracket. This one, not a favorable zone. This is a very south zone, so they're still performing now. They figured it all out and playing up from height to Carter. It's a great game.
Yeah, this is big news. I mean, in terms of expectations, this is one of the duos that has the highest expectations on NA to come out on top. I'm almost surprised that it's taken so long to see them get a match like this, but I'm sure after this, they are going to bump themselves incredibly high up that leaderboard, and it's also, you know, a bit of that confidence boost that they might have needed.
I don't know if Acorn could have more confidence. He came out with confidence at the top of the show, right? We had that moment to interview with him. He just said, hey, I'm ready, be ready. It's great to see, obviously, and 8 eliminations as well. Massive out of the duo. Now, let's take a look at the standings. Sky and Thrall, they continue the dominance. This is why so many fans, players, us, were like, yeah, I think these guys are probably a big contender to go ahead and walk away with the win. Obviously, Teeny and Shark right behind, but more on that in a moment because Sky and Scroll, again, we put Scroll in a solo clutch situation, and he delivers.
He always delivers in these solo clutch situations. It seems like today has been a day of these big solo clutches, and he needed to make it happen, of course. There was a lot of teams that were up there on the standings that, of course, were down to a solo player. We saw it with Shark also clutching up as a solo. So, I mean, when it comes to Acorn and Bolts, the fact they won that game, really good for them. But for Scroll, if he can keep on making these solo clutches happen, if this can still keep happening for them, they're looking really, really strong. Where's the chink in their armor? I don't see it at all.
I mean, it's working. I know Sky is just as capable to make these solo clutches happen, but for now, Scroll has been looking unstoppable. When I think back at EU in general, you know, the knowledge of the top previously has been a bit gatekept, but Sky and Scroll, coming from not being these, you know, tied-in players earlier on in EU competitive to now not only building the chemistry, building the knowledge, building the consistency, they have skyrocketed themselves as one of the most consistent duos, not just on EU, but in the world. So I like to see the solo clutches, but I want to see a duo win from them. I want to see both of them, you know, pop off in one of these end games.
I like that, skyrocketed.
Yeah, pun intended.
Pun intended, right? But even in that game, like, I was looking back at sort of their early game situation. They kind of went back to that strategy that we know they like to do. Sky up in that Surge Tower, up in that base, looking for a lot of those tags around their POI because, of course, that zone did start to pull down to the south. And instead of Scroll just looking for all of that loot and refarming, he was also looking for tags inside of Battlewood Boulevard. So little tiny adjustments to the strategy that's worked so well for them. And in this endgame, of course, they made it there, and we know what happens when they do.
Yeah, something that we even heard Venno say, not only was it looking like he was going to steal our job with that analyst test he did on the Telestrator, but he was bringing up that Sky and Scroll throughout, you know, the divisional cups, throughout the heats, through even the major finals, they kind of had the same strategy in terms of off spawn, getting Surge, and even who they're tagging in early to mid game. Now, the question was, are they going to kind of get contested? Are people going to try and counter that strategy? It didn't happen in the EU major finals, is what Venno was saying, and it almost happened game one actually today when one of them got picked. I forget who it was, but they quickly came back from that. Haven't had too many issues at all, and they've been overcoming these hurdles as the day has been going on. So it hasn't been super easy for them, but they've still done an amazing job of keeping themselves at the top of that leaderboard.
It looks good, right? It looks good. It looks crazy. Obviously, this being the halfway point, again, I'm just going to keep saying it. Job's not done, right? We still have things that we need to do. Wanted to highlight here, of course, Akira Kurama had a bit of a moment from them in this last game. So 8th place, up 5 places, right? So again, it's just going to take one game to try and rise up the standings, you know, as we start to kind of hit that halfway point, though, boys. I'm sure these players are all kind of starting to think the same thing. If I'm up in that top 10, okay, we just got to stay the course. Maybe we could play for first, or we're playing for those 15th qual spots. If we're outside of that many, we're thinking, dude, we have 4 games, which thankfully is 1 extra game.
Yes.
But still, we need to make something happen.
Yeah, and this is something that's really unique to this sort of like LAN format. We're not used to seeing this. It's usually like win, and that's like the main thing that you're playing for. But here, you're playing for that top 15. And for Akira and Kurama, it's really nice to see them actually performing at this level on this stage, because they're a team that have so much potential. They've been showing it in moments, little individual games, little instances where, yes, individual tournaments, they've been incredible. But just overall, we haven't seen that massive dominating performance from them. So for them, that can kind of play into their favor this weekend and today, I should say, because they can just play their end games as they have been. They don't need to set the world on fire. They don't need to try and necessarily win the entire thing, which of course they will try to do. And you're not going to not want to win it, but it gets to a point where you think, right, let's just try and solidify that top 15. And they're a really, really good team at doing that, consistently making those end games.
Yeah, I'm liking how it's looking for them. I mean, this is the in-person event that we've had with the most controller players, and there's only 3 duos that are both controller players playing together. One of them is Akira and Kurama, and hey, putting themselves in top 10 so far. I know the French fans, M8 fans, are incredibly happy to see their performance, especially in that last game, getting closer and closer to the top end of that leaderboard.
Absolutely, bro. Now, of course, it being the halfway point, we've let the players kind of take a deep breath, head back on over. They have a little bit of a break here. They'll be looking to readjust, look at things, whatever they need to do, right? Because with 4 games left to go, we'll have to keep this fight going. Now, Thomas HD as well, for that moment, saw him on height, and dude, my eyes lit up. I was like, yes, Thomas. You know, not sure what led up to Focus being eliminated. Thomas having then to kind of solo clutch a little bit, but look at this, man. Just seeing him on high ground, it took me all the way back.
Yeah, I think they got chopped out there, was it Focus, and they went down to fall damage in the end. But Thomas HD clutching up a few extra points right here. I feel like we haven't really seen them too much, although they're on decent points. It hasn't been like an amazing performance from them. Very similar to what we saw when it came down to Major 1 in EU. They were sort of in and around those end games, performing well, but they never had that massive game performance that we expect and that we can come to expect from Thomas and Focus, because, I mean, the names, both of them, have been performing so well.
When's it going to happen, Thomas? When's it going to I know you have what it takes. I mean, 2024 Global Championship, Thomas HD got 2nd place, adding, you know, to the 4 second places he has in FNCS Major Finals, the 4 third places he has, 11 top 5s. I mean, Thomas has been around. He's one of 2 players playing today that qualified both to the 2019 World Cup and also this Summit Major LAN, duoed up with Focus, who is kind of that new up-and-coming EU talent. Actually, you know, Tarping even gets the shotgun at their POI. I'm liking what I'm seeing from this duo. They started off a little rough earlier on this season, but they've been looking incredibly strong recently. So 1 big game is all I'm hoping for from this duo.
That's right. Dude, that's what we can't forget, right? Is like, it's just going to take 1 really great game to kind of turn all of this around. Wanted to take a moment here to highlight, this has been a fantastic weekend of Fortnite. Camera, can you get this over here? Look at this. This whole little section here has been our co-streamer booth. So if you've been following along with them, they've had a fantastic time. So many showing. What? Ozzy, is that you? Ozzy, Ozzy, come up here. Ozzy, come up here. Ozzy, yo, Bucky, you want to come? You want to come up here? You want to come here, Bucky? Yeah, just him, just you. Come, Ozzy, come here. We got to get him up here. You know, you've heard from us. You've been able to hear our thoughts. Why don't we get Ozzy Antics up here? Fan favorite. He's so cool, so handsome, so tall. Come on. Don't be shy, Ozzy. Don't be shy. Everyone's here to see just you. No one's here to see anybody else, just you. For those of you who don't know, this is Ozzy Antics. I don't know why you wouldn't know, but maybe you don't know, and that's okay. This is Ozzy Antics. Ozzy, what have you made of the first half of the competition so far?
It's been good. I mean, I was talking to my chat about this. I think this is the most stacked lobby in the history of Fortnite, and I think we're seeing that. Like, anyone can take it. I was trying to do predictions last night. There's about 10 teams, I think, that could win this, and no one should be surprised. We've never seen that before.
Yeah, I mean, we saw you doing some predictions on stream earlier on. I want to know how are those sort of shaping up now, halfway through the tournament.
They're looking okay. They're looking okay. I had Sky and Scroll up there.
Yeah.
That was good. I had Shark and Teeny up there. I had them both getting top 3. So I'm feeling good.
Nice.
My Pete Poyo prediction, basically, everyone I had faith in for NA. I had Cold and Rapid winning it.
Yeah.
I had Pete and Poyo getting top 5. So I basically shouldn't have had any faith in NA, apparently.
You think what would you think is the biggest surprise that you've seen today in the finals?
Biggest surprise I've seen so far in the finals today. I mean, Curve and Veno getting contested. I did not see that coming. That was crazy. And I mean, they're handling it pretty well. Outside of that, I think Shadow and Virgo were looking incredible. Again, they're kind of always a dark horse when everyone talks about them, until they also got contested.
Yeah, that's tough, right? Going back to Curve and Veno, right? How do you think, how would you even imagine you have a plan, you come in and then 15 minutes before you're like, hey, guess what?
I honestly thought it was like the usual bait and switch we see. Like, you guys know, you've competed in the past. You hit the little, I need 2 for off spawn. Oh, I'm surprised contest. And if people don't do it, I thought Veno was doing that. I was so sure. And I was like, he's just saying that because he's on the microphone. He's in the player room. No one will contest him. And that's where it's contested. I mean, it's hard, and you got to feel for Curve as well.
Yeah.
This is his first ever LAN. He just won FNCS, doing incredible, but I think they can bring it back. We know Veno's a day 2 player. Doesn't have a day 2, but he did just have the break. He got the second half. He can prepare now. That's my hope.
I mean, it's been really impressive, right? A lot of these sort of newer comer players too. Lance, Curve, of course, Shark. We saw having a great performance so far today. Solo clutching as well. You would have watched a lot of these up-and-coming Fortnite players, up-and-coming talents. How proud are you of these sort of players that are just new to the stage here?
I mean, Sky and Scroll has been like the duo that I've been like. They're like my duo. I've been gassing them up for so long now. I actually predicted them slightly lower because I was worried about Veno. Outside of that, we all watched the EU Grands. Like, they looked incredible. But honestly, I'm super proud. And even Shark as well. I think the thing I'm most proud of Shark is I've seen him in the player room, got to hang out with him. Lovely kid. He's so humble as well. Like, he's had so much expectation coming into this, and he hasn't got an ego about it. He's just stayed humble, respectful. Even when I was trying to be like, you know, you versus Clicks, like, how you feeling about that? He didn't qual, didn't want to smack talk. He was just like, I've got a job to do.
Yeah. That's good. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, it's nice.
Last question for you, obviously, before we start to let you go. What has your chat been saying? I've been saying, what are you hearing? What you hearing?
I mean, they're having a good time. They're enjoying it a lot. I had a little like teaser announcement. I don't know if I'm allowed to like tease the announcement I teased on stream. They're still trying to guess what that is. We got a little like something coming up. They've been loving it. Honestly, they love the show. My chat, I think, also very just locked in on competitive. This is, again, the best lobby we've seen in such a long time. It's sad we don't have faces like Clicks and Savage here, but you get to see the best go at it in a one-day format. They're as hyped as I am. Let's be real.
Bro, well, thank you so much. Before we let you go, obviously, you've got your stream going on right now. You've got Bucky. You had Savage. You're up there as well. Fortnite, if you want another perspective, this is where to go. Anything you'd love to say to the fans out there? Anything you want to say?
I mean, fans, thank you so much for giving me the dream job. As always, it's incredible. I get to call this a career. I traveled all the way from Australia for this. I wouldn't do anything else. But also, I want to give a shout out to the other co-streamers. They've all been phenomenal this week. We've had so many people together. Boob's been killing it. Fax has been killing it. Leo and Ma. Like, the collaborative effort from all the content creators to bring the most out of this LAN has been amazing. So please check them out as well. It's been incredible.
Ozzy, thank you so much, bro. We are so excited that you were.
Thank you.
Know this guy in forever.
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
For sure. Take that. Yeah, go ahead and drop it right there. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of it.
He's got a screen to go. Yeah, he's got to go back.
Ozzy Antics, everybody. Thank you again to Ozzy. Frankie is apparently standing by. Let's go check in with her and see how things are going.
Thank you so much. I had to ask Sky and Scroll what it's been like for them so far. They're currently #1 on the leaderboard. But Sky, game 1 started with you having to reboot Scroll. Talk me through what happened.
I mean, Scroll got camped on in a bush. It was a bad mistake. We should have been prepared, and yeah, it won't happen again. Went on to reboot, and then I died to storm sickness, but Scroll closed up the game.
And this is the thing, you guys have pivoted so well, because after that first game, we haven't seen that happen again. But what we have seen, Scroll, is you continuing to clutch, notably a 2nd place finish. You were on your own for multiple zones. How are you able to focus and have such awareness of everything around you when you're on your own?
I mean, every time I'm in the end game, I'm just full locked in, and I just enjoy playing on stage.
You enjoy just having to go full throttle and save yourself for your teammates, Sky. When you are on your own, though, are the two of you still communicating? How does that work?
Can you say again?
When you're on your own, is Sky giving you any input?
Yeah, he's giving me all the input I need.
Yeah. And so for you now, we've got this halftime reset. How do you reset?
We have some resets that always Poppy introduced us to, and we're gonna look through the games and kind of trying to expect what the other people around us are going to do for the last 4, and yeah, just prepare.
And I did notice you on stage between games. You had your eyes closed, you were having that zen moment, and I think I should let you have another one of those now, so let's head back to the desk.
Thank you so much, Frankie. Love to see Sky and Scroll there. You know, it's tough. The competition is tough. It's not like Sky was just like, hey, Scroll, take over. Go ahead and go wild. It's like, hey, man, something's happening. Other duels are making moves, and Scroll is put in this situation. But when you can have a teammate like Scroll, who it's like, hey, everything's fine. I believe in you. Just go. And he does, is sick.
Yeah, this is a duo that have played together for so long. You have to have that trust in your teammate, and that's something that they built up so often. When their teammate is solo clutching like that, it makes it so much easier when you just know you can trust him. If there's a teammate up here that, you know, I mean, okay, let's just enjoy this. 136 points as a solo to cast.
So we could actually add Pixie, add BOT, and that would still be less points than how much Scroll has solo clutched today. I mean, we knew both Sky and Scroll were capable of this, but doing it on an international stage, Ozzy said it himself, the most stacked lobby we've probably ever seen in Fortnite competitive. I mean, words can't even describe how impressive that is.
Yeah, and I really liked it in that interview right there. Actually, Sky's first answer to Frankie's question. In the, of course, their first game, he went down, he had that bush, they got lurked on, they got keyed. His approach to it, his reaction can very easily be like, oh, we got really unlucky, that wasn't our game. Like, you know, they can get really angry about it. But the way that he conducts himself, the way that this duo have been so good at, is just actually learning from those mistakes. And I think that's a key element to the fact that they have stuck together for so long, because so often in Fortnite, you think, oh, something didn't go well, switch out the duo, we'll try again next time, and just kind of brush over the mistake and not learn from it. Whereas this duo, the fact that Sky right there, you saw a little insight into his mindset, it's like, yeah, okay, they took us out there, we didn't do enough homework, we didn't make it count, it's not going to happen again. And that's the way that their mindset carries them through, and that's why they've been able to stay together so long and find all of their success.
Beautifully done. Let's take a look at those standings. I gotta look at them, man. This is like, we have to continue to dissect as much as we can, especially when we have just a moment to breathe. Acorn and Bolts obviously jumping up the 7 places. We did talk about them before, getting themselves Victory Royale. But look just below, boys. Pixie and Swizzy up 2 more places. He's creeping in there, right? Yeah, it's not 268 points, but we're staying pretty dang close. If Sky and Scroll were to make a mistake of any kind, you could see someone like a Swizzy and Pixie jumping up.
Yeah, it's amazing to see. I think the best way to describe this duo as sort of a sleeping giant in the phrase of EU, because these guys haven't been putting up necessarily the amazing performances that we know that they can do. But when they get on that stage, when they get in this environment, when they're getting into this latter half of competition, they can go away and VOD review. This is when they come alive and they feel alive to Carter. They're looking it too in the lobby.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's a lot of talk on, you know, Swizzy being the only global champion out of the 3 to be here at the Summit land, or, you know, gotta hype up Pixie as well. He was also at that global championship. He also performed at a top level. And with 4 more matches to go, I'm excited to see if they can continue climbing.
That's right, man. I'm excited to see this interview. Frankie is standing by with Swizzy Pixie right now.
Thank you so much. Swizzy, you were just saying to me, you don't feel like it's going amazingly, but you're 4th on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing incredibly well, but you feel like you're just getting warmed up.
I mean, we could be getting the best loot, so I'm not really think we're doing good. I think we can do better. Yeah.
And is 4 games enough to do that? If you think of those 4 games like a day 2, like back in Major 1?
Yeah.
Because we saw what you did in Major 1, right? You remember?
Of course I remember, yeah.
You flew up the leaderboard, you hit W and you went up, because right now we're not seeing that many eliminations from you. And Pixie, you're an elimination king. So is that the plan for the last 4 games?
Maybe we will do our best. Yeah. We're gonna look over some of our mistakes that we didn't get kills, and then...
Well, you are uncontested though, Pixie. Do you think that's almost an issue for you?
I mean, I think it's fine both ways.
So where are you gonna get those eliminations from? Who are you hunting down, boys?
Just on anyone who we can.
You're just gonna go for a stroll through the map, Pixie, and just anyone you find, they're out of the lobby.
Yeah.
Yes, I love to hear it. 4 more games to go. As I said, boys, it's day 2. Let's head back to the desk.
Look, I believe, right? This is Swizzy and Pixie, you know what I'm saying? Again, we've already discussed the length. It only takes one really good game. Now, something, you know what, I'm not gonna say Levin, I'm gonna steal it from Levin.
All right.
Swizzy and Pixie, they tend to heat up better on the second day. We don't really have second day, and obviously contextually, quite a bit of pressure on the duo. But we do have the 4 games. So what do we need from them to go ahead and bounce back?
More of the same, really. I mean, we saw it from Pixie, from Swizzy in that interview right there. He was like, yeah, we're getting really good loot. We're in a good position on the leaderboard. So he was like, yep, we're in 4th. But there's still got so much to give. There's still so much left in the tank, it feels like, with this duo. And that's been the way that the narrative has been for them throughout this entire season. They're so good. They have so much skill. They have so much on paper capabilities. But when it comes down to in the game, they're just falling short slightly. Luckily for them, because they're so good, falling short is still in that top 15.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you do get top 15, you qualify yourself to the global championships. You heard when Swizzy was talking, he said, you know, we're not doing good enough because, you know, a player like Swizzy, a player like Pixie, they want to get first place. They want to win this Summit LAN, but it's not just the $250,000 you get for first place. Not only that beautiful trophy with a crown you can detach and put on, it's also that golden ticket to the global championship if you get top 15 on that leaderboard.
Yeah, I almost wonder how many duos, you know, because again, I think another layer we maybe don't talk about a lot is the experience, right? Being able to show up in this environment and get a taste of globals, right? The pressure at globals is going to be double, triple as intense, right? So kind of being able to come in and just say, like, we may not even need to strike for first. Let's just make sure we secure a spot and continue to earn the experience. When we show up there, it won't be as hot under these lights.
Yeah, it's like getting that experience, getting those reps in earlier on in the season, earlier on in the year. It's like this is something that they're not necessarily used to. And for Swizzy and Pixie in particular, they sort of go against the grain, if you like, with how EU went this entire major. It was sort of like a lot of the newcomer players coming on through, whereas these guys are sort of just veteran players that have been at that top level, combining up and performing well here on LAN. So if they can qualify through into that top 15, expecting big things from the globals as well.
That's what I love so much about this Major 1 Summit LAN. I mean, we're at the start of the year. We're just getting started. We finished Major 1. We still have a whole year of Fortnite competitive ahead of us. Global championships at the end of the year. Even a solo competition hidden in there. So it is going to be a lot of fun.
I don't know nothing about that. Don't ask me. But what I do know is we asked the players about GC and what they have to look forward to. Check this out.
Everyone wants to qualify for the Global. It's the Fortnite event of the years, like every time.
It's very important to get top 15 because you secure your LAN spot for the end of the year.
Be perfect. Already having the spot secured takes a little bit of pressure off from Major 2 and Major 3.
Performing well is gonna change everything. You'll have an easier way of being uncontested, so it's like a snowball effect throughout the whole year.
I like the AKM format. It gives people less of a chance to review in between the tournament.
Even if you're 30th place, if you drop like a 10 elimination win, I mean, it's so good because anyone could qual. It's really just play your game and see who ends on top.
The biggest goal is still top 15, I'm not gonna lie.
At the end of the day, that's what we're playing for, all of us. Just you do it or you don't.
I know we'll easily qualify for the GC. I think it's not gonna be that hard for us.
Try and Scroll could be one of those first teams for multiple wins here for Hollery and Cammy. They have 4 eliminations.
I think some teams might hide strats in upper bracket or lower bracket to save them for the finals.
In 6 games, we don't have that time to adapt, but for 8, so many things can change.
I'm underestimated as a Middle East pro, so this LAN for me is very important. Hope I can show everyone Mado.
The global spot is so important. It could change the whole year. The atmosphere here, there's so much hype.
It's all I've dreamed of, to win Grands, win Globals.
I'm 100% sure we're qualifying for the Global Championship.
It's like once in a lifetime thing. We're the best duo by far.
I'm confident to close the finals.
I'm very good under the pressure.
I just want to perform well and hope this is the one.
Pretty cool stuff, and you know what else is cool? The stadium is yelling out for some of their favorite players as they are starting to return back onto the stage. They're finding their seats and will shortly be boarding the battle bus once again as we continue to pick up the competition. But in case you miss it, don't forget, Friday we did make an announcement, some changes to the 2026 FNCS. In case you missed it, I just want to bring this up. We have a beautiful graphic for you guys. Don't forget, we are going to Antwerp, Belgium. That's right, September 26th and 27th. Pre-registration for those tickets is available. We see here as well, Major 2, some new dates. Last chance has been changed, so we got August 3rd through 14th there, and then, as Stokado was kind of teasing, FNCS Solo, question mark, don't know what that is, don't worry about it. We'll talk about that more later down the road. Don't even worry about that. And of course, in case you haven't read the blog, there's also this other thing, some changes to rank, like Unreal Legend rank and the Acts of Unreal. This brand new rank, if you want to hop in and show how good you are at the game, this is how you do it. Unreal Legends. And look at this beautiful, I'm talking beautiful Acts of Unreal. I will never have one, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. But dang, this looks clean.
You're not a top 500 player?
Oh, are you not? No. No, I'm not top 500,000.
Oh, goodness me. Well, yeah, you won't be getting it. That's
I'm okay
right. So
with
it looks good, though. It does look very good. And I'm very excited for these changes. Nice, of course, new roadmap for the year as well. Global Championships, Antwerp, Belgium. Super hype for that. Of course, Solo as well. That's going to be super duper hype. That's where a lot of the players that are on this stage are going to be really hyped about as well, because that is where a lot of that new talent can come through in that sort of format, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of players, a lot of you watching today are going to not only see how hype this international event has been, but also with this roadmap in mind, not only can you start grinding for Unreal Legends, start grinding for the Axe, but also grinding for the next upcoming competitions. We still got another LAN at the end of the year. We've got more majors to play out, a lot more fun competitions.
I'm also looking forward to, of course, the power rankings, in case you didn't check that out. It's a way for competitive players. It's basically the resume, right? Launches on the 5th. Go check it out. The blog has a ton of information for you. Okay, now we're getting ready. We got to lock back into this competition. All right, let's bring up these standings. Let's start talking about teams who are on the bubble. So remember, we want to hit top 15 if we want to qualify through to GC. Right now, Blixie holding down that 15th spot with Chaff, but it's only 108 points. Certainly by the end of the next 4 games, that's not enough. We need to continue pushing. We need to try and get as many points as we can. But even someone like Cold and Rapid dropping down the 6 places, right? While someone like Golden and Ozone jump up the 7 places. Like, guys, this is super volatile right now.
Yeah, well, the benefit of it being an 8-game format is that we're at the halfway point here. We still have 4 more games to go, so that leaderboard is going to shift massively as well. There was a little fist bump to my left here about this leaderboard. Takata, what were you actually fist bumping about?
You know, I saw a Spanish duo maybe up there in the top 15. No bias here. Okay, no bias. But they did win a game yesterday, so who knows what will happen. Speaking about winning games, all the wins today have been EU and NA Central teams. We've had in a LAN competition before a Brazil team win, but there hasn't been a win from Middle East, from Asia. There has not been a lot, even from OCE. So I'm hoping that one of these next games, we got 4 more games, one of you duos have got to lock in and make it happen.
Yeah, and I think a team that could do that, it's Alex and Reckless. They are just walking by me right now, so whether they'll notice what I'm saying, I'm not just saying it because they're there, but they, he didn't actually notice, so he can't even get it. But no, I genuinely think they're playing incredibly well today, you know, showing up on the big stage. They have what it takes to win games. We've seen them on hype. We've seen them in these end games. They're making big plays to go for it. And I'm right with you, Takata. I really want to see one of these smaller region teams picking up a victory round, because what a moment that would be for not only everyone in this arena, but everyone back home as well. They'll all be cheering them on.
Yeah, I know. I completely agree with you. That would absolutely be sick, but on screen, we got Sky and Scroll, right? How do we get a victory out when they stand in our way, when they are the ones who say, they're basically the bouncer, right? And I can prove it to you. Check out this session summary. Most eliminations, damage dealt, Scroll, solo clutch points, Scroll. I mean, yes, I'd love to see. It would be so hype, but man, Sky and Scroll are currently dominating.
I love it. I mean, to add on to what you were saying earlier, Minnie, is how they reacted to when Frankie was speaking to them. They had some issues in game 1. They got picked off by being surprised when they went into a bush, but like Veno was saying when he was breaking down kind of the strats of North Boulevard, they haven't really been countered much in major finals, in heats, in Div Cups. They're finally getting countered, but the best thing is, doesn't even matter. They're moving forward through these counters. They're adapting in real time, and they've just had a little halftime session to VOD review, study, lock back in, and by the way it's looking, I mean, they're looking to hold on to that #1 spot.
And the funny thing about Scroll is that he was, well, his name is Scroll because he used to use scroll wheel binds for his builds.
Oh.
And it was always a bit of a meme. It's like Scroll doesn't build because it's so difficult for him to scroll through all the builds. He was a top tier player when he was on those scroll wheel bind for actually scrolling through his builds. He switched off of that as of quite recently. It just makes me wonder, what if he made that switch sooner, right? Like, what if he actually made that switch sooner? We are seeing prime Scroll gameplay this weekend already. Unbelievable stuff. And them together as a duo, not just Scroll, Sky by his side as well. Having someone that you've played with for so long, just allowing you to have the freedom to do what you do best. It's great to see.
Speaking about sooner, I mean, I love to see young talent like Shark and Teeny play as well as they are. I mean, favorites coming in to today. I was wondering, is the pressure going to get to them? The practice matches before this event even started, it was not going their way. I don't think they even won a single off spawn, but they quickly locked in when it mattered the most. I mean, Shark is a player that just in 2026, he has more earnings than 24 and 25 combined. How quickly he's been able to jump to the top alongside Teeny. I think the first time they even took Storm Surge damage throughout this whole tournament was Game 3 today. So they're playing incredibly well, currently in second place, looking to see if they can push to the first.
Crazy stuff, man. So many of these duos, their sudden rise to stardom, right? Like, how will that impact them? And if we can walk away with, even someone like Shark and Teeny suddenly showing up, giving themselves a win, that's going to be a crazy boost out to the confidence. Something Vivid brought up the day one in upper bracket was the fact that this is kind of the first time we've ever had a competition where we've gone from a season into a LAN environment on the same season, right? So it's interesting that Sky and Scroll and even Shark and Teeny are being so dominant. We're kind of already seen some of their strategies, and it just doesn't matter, right? They're just like, hey, we're Shark, we're Teeny, we're Sky, we're Scroll, we're still at the top of the leaderboard. Hopefully we've developed some kind of plans to try and get in their way, but I'm getting word the games are ready. Fortnite fam, let's jump back into the competition with our casters.
Hopefully you guys at home took that moment to get some snacks and refresh yourself, because this action has been out of this world, and you got to go ahead and Scroll props. I know they were doing it on the desk, but he has been playing insane.
I mean, you have to remember, after the EU Grands, the community crowned Sky as the MVP for his solo clutching. Scroll is showing him up right now with just how impressive he has been. Will it continue in the back half of the games? Let's wait and find out.
Understand it now, okay? Scroll was a solo series champion for a reason, but the fact of the matter is he is just looking like a different beast entirely in today's lobbies. But who's going to be the team to step up and try to shut them down?
The scariest thing about Sky and Scroll is with how good Scroll is currently playing, we all know Sky can do the same thing too. So the second he, takes a beat, maybe he decides after the halftime break, I'm gonna chill a bit. You can never be too safe, Jacob, when either of these two are up in this lobby.
Can they remain consistent throughout 8 games, though? But back on over to the fight, we know what happened at time and time again. Flixie, he's able to get the first drop. There goes the knock. Third party's coming in out of nowhere. Chap and Flixie get eliminated.
And it's right there, a shot to the heart for Chap and Flixie, because the drop was flawless. They had beat Resigns and Tinka full out, but Werix and Kiruo, they've got a whole new strategy cooking, and it's worked against Chap and Flixie entirely. Another German favorite fallen here as Reason will meet his demise.
A very, very tough situation to be in early. But after that break between Game 4 and the one you're at now, they had plenty of time to rework their strategy.
But it's just so crazy to think. Everyone knew. Everyone's been strategizing. Everyone's been planning for the countermeasures. But the fact of the matter is, when it's so on the fly, when it's happening in the same day, it's so much more difficult to be able to actually meet every single one of those expectations. You're just constantly guessing and checking.
Lucy, Zangi, you see how They're getting those eliminations. Gatera probably didn't see this one coming. They soar from above. It doesn't even look like he was playing there in that moment. Not sure what happened, but he's going to be the first one to fall in a 2v1 situation against Belusi and Zangi. That one's going to be an easy wipe.
Back over to Latte. It was incredibly messy in the first 4 games of the day. After people have had a moment to chill in halftime, it looks a bit more quiet here in game number 5. And hopefully for NA fans, that works in favor of Ritual Ages and Reet and Cooper and gives them the best chance of rising in the standings.
After a certain point, you just have to chalk it up to where is the line going to be drawn in the sand. And for Agers and Ritual, they realize that they're going to need a little bit more if they want to try and overcome for top 15.
And how many times have we seen Pablo and Chino do this? Liam didn't see it coming. Give that guy a map. Pablo and Chino are on their way, and it looks like Shark and Teamy are looking to replicate that as well.
Yeah, they heard the noise that was going down over here. Skyjump and Momsy had just finished a fight. And that's been a thing about Shark and Teeny. They've been playing well, but they have some struggles when it comes to Storm Surge. So you're seeing them and a few other teams to start this game already switching things up to try to fix what wasn't working.
There's a lot of VOD footage out there on Momsy and Skyjump hanging out in the forest. So for somebody like Teeny, it is not shocking to think that they would have come up with the formula to try and take those two out.
Speaking of formulas, hopefully Pete and Poyo have been cooking something up. 2 of their biggest names. We saw at the last Duo LAN just how impressive they were. And though we are far removed from that, we know they still have the ability with this type of loot in hand, both of them with gold shotguns. If they do have to force a fight, Jacob, you've got to think it's in their favor.
Yeah, right now you can kind of see that they were able to loot up very, very quickly. They got those legendary fishing spots, the Midas floppers, so getting a strong loadout was going to be easy, but Venno falls again. Teus and King BR, they've been on a roll on this side of the map, and now Curve with his back up against the wall once more. Curve, the young superstar on NA Central, getting a chance of a lifetime playing with Venno. They won the NA FNCS, but this weekend, particularly Championship Sunday, I gotta wonder where it all went wrong.
Look, the Brazilian fans might be outnumbered here in Germany, but we just heard them getting plenty rowdy for what just took place on our screens. But now it's all about Peterbot and Poyo. Can they overcome? They're looking to see if they can strike first elimination here at Humble Hills.
Putting pressure down. That's exactly what they do best. But you see how they're approaching this fight differently, Levin? They're not just bulldozing into the box. They made one too many mistakes at the first half of the day. So even them are taking a different approach to the game.
Yeah, I'd even argue they don't look as comfortable right now, trying to find the opening. Nosif and Izzy, though, not giving them that room, not giving them any sort of opportunity. No mistakes made, and so Pete and Poyo do the right thing. They back off. And they're just going to have to try run it back another time with another duo. These guys will not be an easy fish.
It makes sense. You don't want to keep trying to force blocks where they won't fit, and you don't want to overextend your welcome. Pete, Poyo, better off faring, trying to maybe switch up, maybe push further into the forest direction, even a little bit north of where Squibbly is at. See if Skyjump and Mumsy could be victimized there.
Well, be careful if you go over there, though. That's where Shark and Teeny lurk around. And they are not a team you want to fight if you're not at your 100% best. Swizzy, Pixie, they've started to heat up this weekend. And Twy is feeling the effects of that. Can this duo be the surprise team that pushes Sky and Scroll, maybe one of the other duos up there till the very end?
There is just so many duos, though. You look at 268 points on a leaderboard at the halfway mark, and if you are not in that 100-point threshold range, it's very difficult to start thinking about realistically overtaking them. Instead, it shifts. Focus is top 15, and for Pixie and Swizzy, they're still within that striking range, so it makes total sense that they're looking for every opportunity to rack up elimination points because the placements are soon to follow.
And that's the one thing we know for sure, especially for a team like Swizzy and Pixie. When they turn it on, they can pick up those eliminations when it matters, but they're being very, very precise about how they want to approach the situation. They know Sides and Scary are holding down that vending machine, so instead of fighting it, they're just going to take their damage and leave. Karama, Akira, rotating through. Again, a lot of our teams that kind of would usually stick towards the south side of the map or kind of make it quick and early rotations, trying to get into the zone. With the way the Storm Surge changes this year, you're seeing how it affects the gameplay and the differences from Globals until now.
This has sort of been the name of the game, though, for Akira and Karama all day. They've just kind of been testing the waters, gauging whether or not some of these surprise opportunities actually pan out in their favor. But for all these other duos, ones like Vico and Malabuka, we know what they are capable of. We're just waiting for that highlight showing.
The toughest thing, and you can ask Pablo and Chino about this, the toughest thing about being in a battle against Sky and Scroll is they don't slow down, they don't misstep. To overcome them, you're gonna have quite the game. Vico and Malabuka are capable of it, but they still have plenty of other top competitors in between them and that first place slot. It's gonna have to be a ramp up in momentum.
Focus and Hero, they were the ones kind of lurking over on this side of the map. You see why. Drained out of all of their extra heals. You got to think Tiggs and Daddy Kush in the same spot. No extra HP, down to the gold. So they're going to go ahead and try to take control of this vending machine. Yakko and Panzer are on top of that hill as well, not too far out. So 3 teams around Painted Palms, all still having to rotate in. Neither one of them wanting to give up an inch because they know their opposition could take a mile.
But you still have to remember, this is Yakko and Panzer's home base. Bacchus and Hero, they were originally contesting Epic Whale and Pump. We all saw that was not faring in their favor, not even the slightest, so they wanted to shift the plan. They're trying to find new opportunities, but that's thrown so many issues, not just for Yapko and Panzer, who now have a lot of their coverage left to try and reclaim, but Vico Malabuka, they're now taking more surge tags from Epic Whale and Pump, who are feeling a little bit more bold being uncontested.
Q-Index and Phantom just trying to rotate through the south side of Battlewood Boulevard, but this is where you can see a little bit of the difficulties. They're still taking damage all along the way.
Yeah, seeing these guys landing south of Battlewood definitely was always going to be a difficult day to be had. Even with Benno Curve fighting King and Tails, it was always going to be rough. Shadow and Virgo right now doing everything in their power to keep NA still in this battle for first.
Overhead shots kind of just indicating everyone's really inside, the calm before the storm. Deemish, Darm, holding out. They've had so many instances of just getting cut short in the early game when they've been trying to prioritize being able to build up some form of a buffer zone. Now it's all about just getting the recovery points online. But Darm, Deemish, you have to remember, all season, all chapter long really, since Tip Top Terrace was removed, they haven't really had a true drop spot to call home. So here today, it was anticipated that they'd have to shift things up constantly.
Over towards Sandy Strip. We typically see this as a mode of rotation. We're staying in the zone. They're trying to use it to heal up just a little bit so they don't have to dig deep into the pockets and pull out the pizza or the chug chug. Looking back, spotted out Chino and Pablo. Neither one of them wanted to take a shot. They want to stay and keep their position relatively unknown, because as you rotate out of Sandy Strip, you have a far distance to go, and you don't want to be tagged up all along the way and lose your Storm Surge damage.
Why bother drawing attention to yourself if it's not necessary? Chino and Pablo are another one of those duos that, sure, it might be a 90-ish point disparity between themselves and Sky and Scroll, but we've seen what they are capable of. They know how to deliver a huge point conversion match.
And unlike some of the other teams like Curve on our screens here, who are having to deal with all these mix-ups and shake-ups in their game plan and their strategy, Pablo Chino able to play their game. That gives them the best possible shot. Nosif and Izzy, we've seen some of the struggles they have had in the mid-game, running into titans of different regions in their pursuit of staying in it. Sky, Scroll, low on Surge for Volko, and so that's going to cause a bit of desperation. He's going to try and force the issue.
For Cringed Volko, it's a necessity for them to fight this fight. There's not too many targets around the actual spot where they're at now. They're 115 below. They're not taking damage from Storm Surge yet, but they will if they don't get what they need. Nice shot by Voco. That's going to get them 23 above the damage threshold, pulling Sky and Skrull down that leaderboard along with them, but he answers the call again. Skrull will not be denied in this tournament. Picks up the Elim. Siphon keeping him healthy, which is huge.
Just when you thought Cringe and Voco maybe had the upper hand on the Danes, Skrull reminding everyone why today he is the best player in the world.
Skrull is just undeniable right now. His presence felt in every single moment. Any opportunity that Cringe and Voco might have had completely disappearing right in front of their eyes. The Sky Skrull now with another freebie refresh. It wasn't even a necessity. They are 5-5-5 heading towards the next zone, and they have the luxury of taking their sweet time. A dead side approach is likely in the works.
And just like that, Sky and Skrull back to playing out their regular game, the one we have seen them do all season long. Rico Malabuka, in typical fashion, things looking a bit messy here, but they thrive in the chaos. Yapko Panzer, a duo that they are very familiar with. Well, they won't want to be fighting against these guys just now, so quick little loot up.
Not even a necessity to have to fight that one. You see they're above the damage threshold and over 400. You're seeing how they got so far above the damage threshold. Shockwave from above. The surprise attack. They didn't see it coming.
They just fully punished Bacchus and Hero for facing the wrong direction. They were boxed up. They had that flow-bearing Mist Grenade going. You know the visual obscurity is going to be a problem. You've got to make sure that you are keeping at least one member looking the other way.
They set the screen on themselves and Rico Malabuka jumped on the opportunity. That is what great playmakers do, and that's exactly what Malabuka and Vico have been in the EU for years, showing it on the stage now.
It's one of the best teams, as it seems, controlling their serves. They haven't been ticked once the entire tournament, which is impressive, which goes to show that they're constantly staying above that damage threshold, planning each rotation perfectly, so not only they can go ahead and accumulate those numbers, but not take damage back themselves.
I can't help but notice the direction that this zone is pulling. This is Vico Malabuka's backyard, but also a duo like Chino and Pablo. They have made a great approach far north of everyone else. They'll have the highest point of elevation. They've just got to make sure they keep their heads on a swivel. They don't want to get caught out by any teams looking to sneak up behind them.
Not the spot you want to be in if you're Vidil and Ju below the damage threshold. And the thing is, Lewan Romero, they don't hear that Vidil and Ju are below that damage threshold until their shields crack. But they know aggression when they see them. Vidil know it. They're just trying to climb on top of the Frigid Fortress building. They're not necessarily trying to take a risky 50-50 fight. They're just trying to elevate themselves so they could shoot off into the distance.
But off into the distance, it was Chino and Pablo. The way that they had made their approach into Frigid Fortress's peak elevation is the primary reason why Vidil and Ju are having to expend practically all of their hard material now. Pablo, Chino, they recognize the fact this is likely a team that's rather weak. They have to spend opportunities to heal, so they won't be able to light us up, and they get a free rotate to front side.
And you talked about wanting to build up to not take a risk. It might have been riskier to do just that. Their biggest opportunity to get damage, Pablo and Chino flew by and they were not ready to get any tags whatsoever. Now you're seeing just how hard it is for them to find any sort of damage. Everybody boxed up, nobody in a rush to move out of their box. Except for them, and they go down.
Sometimes you're just left with no other options when you're that below the damage threshold. But for Acorn and Bolts, they get the zone not too far off where they landed. It gets even closer as it's going over towards the northwest, not too far away from wherever he's at now. And they also get the pull. So for Acorn and Bolts, the main thing on their mind is not going down or making any bad peaks.
One reoccurring trend throughout today, though, is that whoever won the last lobby has had a rather difficult time in the very next. But for Acorn and Bolts, they are looking to escape that narrative. Sharktini, on the other hand, they've got a whole different slew of problems here. 212 below. Shark having to use everything just to try and out-heal some of these Surge takes. 14 players that still need to go down. They'll have to force the issue.
Yeah, there's even another team spraying on that box. looking behind. They know where they got to go. They know where the zone's going to lead. Swizzy, Pixie, they're going to open that one up and land even more damage onto Teeny, making his life that much harder in this situation. 232. It's now or never. Reed and Cooper on the other side. Shark takes a big shot. Storm Surge still taking him down. 20 HP. Only a couple of seconds before he is struck it out of the lobby completely. Shark's going to fall. Now Teeny with his back up against the wall. A necessary sacrifice. As Shark goes down, he lands a shot and he gets up above the damage threshold.
Most people might be scared to see Teeny in this kind of solo position, but you have to remember, Teeny's been throwing out his own punches, even at 5 eliminations, if I'm not mistaken, in that secondary lobby, so he's been popping off.
And I mean, you can look at all the little things that they could have done differently in that moment to keep Shark potentially in the game, but the mistakes were made way before this point in the game, and it's just up for Teeny now to just keep himself ticking for that much longer. Eventually, he will crack, and that is the end of that for our second place team in this game. And so an opportunity for Sky and Skrull to continue to improve their lead. But what do Chino and Pablo have to say about that?
Wow. A flashback right now. Peterbot and Pollo literally flying under the radar. They have that one elimination, 280 damage above, and they are starting to heat up. Sayas is going to go down. Aegis and Ritual taking a lot of the focus, but they're constantly changing targets. They don't want to let anybody breathe. That's at the back of the zone. Now Pump is feeling the pain. No eliminations yet, but for Peterbot and Pollo, they handled their surge.
There's one spot you never want to see. It's Pete ahead of the rest of the lobby because he just goes into target practice mode. A lot of damage applied, but they still need refreshes. They need to make it to the bodies because they need to build up more materials, a better loadout. Swizzy, on the other hand, he's already got it. He is set and perched on the high ground. Pixie directly next to him. Who's going to be the first, though, to bring an elimination in?
If you know anything about these two players, this is where they like to be. We have seen them on this stage and in EU make waves from above, but this is not over when you have Acorn and Folks looking to try and make the back-to-back happen. Still so many strong players, so many strong duos left alive in this one. It is not an easy high hold for Swizzy Pixie.
But this is the best chance. Aegis and Ritual, they are pouncing on the leading challengers here today. And that elimination onto Skrull. Sky, what are you left to do?
Yeah, you foreshadowed it yourself. He was the one doing a decent amount of the solo clutches. Now with no build, can't take a singular tick of the zone. He's gonna fall. An opportunity has just opened up for the rest of the lobby. But Swizzy and Pixie, they're trying to control it all.
Aegis is out of here. Pixie knows that Peterbot's right behind him, and Swizzy has fallen. Pollo's taking him out. The Mythic Reloader, could it be the difference maker? Peterbot's waiting to see who dares challenge him next.
It was only a matter of time until Peterbot and Pollo reminded the world why they are so feared in NA. This is time to make their game happen. Vico and Matabuka down below, still gonna make it happen. If they can keep it up, they might just take height off of them.
I wouldn't call it way too soon, though, because we've seen so many teams get overthrown in these moments here. One shockwave is all it takes. Pixie lands a monster of a shot on the Momsy, pushing him back, making him go and retreat back to Sky Jump, but it's not enough. Another attack from down below. Vico gets an elimination of his own. They're fifth of the game, but they're outside. They need to find the shockwave in. They need to make it inside the zone because they have very, very little extra HP.
But the thing that they did have was full control of front side. They have escaped all of the congestion. They were able to utilize every single one of their white heals, and now they are ahead. Looking back, preventing anyone from challenging the vicinity. This territory belongs exclusively to them. Front side is completely out of reach, but Pete and Pollo, they're more concerned about the high ground.
Squeezing teams down below, and that just plays right into Vico and Matabuka's hands. They're looking for a refresh, and Vico will hit the shot. Won't go for the loot. They want to keep a hold of the front side alone.
But they are dropping down. Ree and Cooper, they've overthrown Peterbot and Pollo on the high ground. The tables have turned, even for Vico and Matabuka. One of them's down. Vico's now forced to clutch up, but high ground continues to fight it out. Ree and Cooper will not be denied. 2v1 situation on height, but they lose it all. Pollo is answering back with an elimination of his own, but it only starts with a knock.
Cooper's been even more, but he won't get to stay here in the lobby. Pollo bringing it back. Darm, Deemish just underneath. Pollo, how far can you truly rise when the moment calls you most? When the lights are at their brightest, Deemish is empty pump. Boyo just trying to see who's going to try and challenge him first. But Team Ishtar, they're both just so weak. Boyo's got the chug jug. He's sitting back. Another shot at the dark.
The young Mexican makes it happen.
Poyo! Even Pete is saying, oh my god! How did you manage that 2v1? That was insane!
No, they had no mats, so I was just able to make them there.
It was a 2v1 situation. You were soloed for a considerable amount of time. We saw you on the high ground, on the low ground, figuring things out. It was not that chill, was it, Pete?
I mean, I'm playing with the best player in the world. I mean, I don't even know what I just watched. I mean, comeback starts now.
The comeback starts now. We just watched a Poyo masterclass. Pete, it's been an up and down day so far, as you said. The comeback starts now. Are we going to see Prime Peterbot?
Might have to come out soon.
He might have to come out soon. I think he needs to come out now. Poyo, you're on fire. We've seen you clutching. We've seen such peak performance from you in the first few games. Do you think now that that trophy is a possibility?
Yeah, I think that's the game that we needed to start the comeback, so I think maybe we can win.
Okay, Pete, you're always confident, but Poyo even now is saying that you can win. Do you think it's going to be NA on top?
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Peterbot, come on, I need more confidence from you. Is it NA on top?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's head to a break.
I'll go here with that one low. I'm popping in that bit. Wait, short. Got 6 builds? No, max up. Wait, if you're mid, wait. 100! 100! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
God, we are so back! We are so back! Peterbot and Pollo!
Bro, just take a chill pill, Zeke. Just relax. Wow, Peterbot and Pollo, as Pete said, they're back. They are back. Before that game, Fortnite Competitive Twitter, they retweeted a tweet from Muzz, and he said, "Tell you what, Scroll is moving like 2024 Peterbot." Actually, scratch that. Pollo is moving like 2024 Peterbot in this endgame. What a performance from these guys. They are back. We have not seen them really too much of this entire day so far. They took high. They had it taken off of them as well. There was a moment here where I thought they'd thrown the game when Peterbot tried to take high as a solo. It's this right here you can see in the middle of your screen. Trying to chop high, ends up chopping Reet and Cooper out, but of course, that 2v1 situation, I thought, no, they've thrown it. But oh no, no, no. Pollo as a solo, down on low ground. Unbelievable stuff. And then at the end of this game, I mean this one actually, let's watch this shot again. I want to see it. 3, 2, 1, and boom!
Oh, an electric performance from Peterbot and Pollo. But Pollo has been looking lethal throughout the whole day. Not only did they win the match in a 1v2 finish, but Pollo picked up 8 eliminations alongside Peterbot's 4. I've talked a lot about expectations, specifically for this duo. I mean, they got second, first in 2024 and even won the 2024 Global Championship in 2025 as well. Second, first. I mean, the expectations for Peterbot and Pollo coming back into duos have been at an all-time high. They have not been meeting these expectations. You'd look at the placements and you'd say, they're great. They've been playing really well, but they haven't been firsts. They haven't been seconds. They haven't been winning, which is what we're so used to seeing with Peterbot and Pollo. And with that performance that we just witnessed right after halftime, I think we're into a very fun surprise here.
And a mask back on. Step off, Polo! Step off, my man! Put some respect on that name! Okay, sorry about that. Sorry, I don't know how it got on there. Well, it's crazy stuff. Peterbot and Pollo, what the heck? The solo clutch. Guess what? We have a listen in from that game. Let's take a listen.
Hello? Dead? I go for it. I'm gonna go for it. Look at him. They're going up. Good? I have the match. I'm dead, probably. Dead. Nice. 3 builds, build! Play chug! Nice! 1v1. He's gonna die. 0 builds. Nice. Let's go!
Disgusting! Oh, sorry about that. The mask was back on. I don't know why that keeps getting over here. Sorry about that. I'm gonna keep that over there. Again, congrats to the duo. How does this impact the standings, though? We have to take a look. What's important to note here, Sky and Scroll fell just inside placement, right? So they didn't get to earn as many points as we wanted. Look at this. Acorn, Bolt, and even Vico and Malabuka suddenly jump up into that top 3. And we do see their 10th place Pollo and, of course, Peterbot. But, man, Acorn and Bolt, they needed this game, right? They needed a point. They saw that in the feed. Sky and Scroll down. Go!
Absolutely crucial that they had a good game here. You mentioned it's Sky and Scroll going down early in this game. Same with Shark and Teeny as well, another top team in that section of the leaderboard. They also went down, so they needed a good performance. Not the best game that we've seen from them, and not gonna, of course, shoot them up the leaderboard massively, but keeping them in that position on the leaderboard, Takata. And this is exactly what this team needs to do. They need to keep these consistent end games coming in, consistent placements, favorable zone for them as well in the end, but they're playing well, they're cooking.
I'm starting to get nervous for EU here. I mean, we talked about it earlier. Shadow Virgo, they were on top in terms of the NA teams, but we look back at predictions going into these finals. Acorn Bolts, they were always on that high end of these predictions, and after a big game before halftime, now continuing forward with another solid match, they are creeping their way up to first.
Oh my gosh. Guys, I wanted to keep talking, but so much happened in the last game, but I'm getting word games are ready. We're jumping right back into the action. Casters, take it away.
You know, before this tournament started, I was asked so many times, who do you think is going to win? Who do you think is going to take it all? You know what I said? I just want a close tournament. Peterbot and Pollo looking like they're going to deliver.
This is what it's really all about. Pete, Pollo, you know, they've kind of been waiting it out, feeling out the lobby, but they're sick of it. The comeback has to start now, but they're not the only ones, Levin. There are so many teams creeping their way up.
I don't blame them. I don't blame them. They saw the party that's being had and they said, we want to get involved, we want to jump in. And if that's a sign of what's to come, this next game is about to be fire.
A pivotal game 6, and normally we would be talking about this being the last game of the day. What do teams have to do here? But there's still 3 games left, and that's why I look at consistency. So even though Sky and Scroll may have fell early, they're still in a lead. They still have a cushion, and they still have a game to spare.
And it's easy to try and fixate on that top 5, but there is still a lot of contention for top 15. Danikosh, Tiggs, Reason, Noah Riley. Who's going to be the first one to fall?
Yeah, nice. Both of them are able to get the floor loop. Down goes Tiggs. A huge advantage here now in numbers. Siphon comes in. Reason is respectfully full health. Now Danikosh tries to be the hero, but he ends up going down.
Doing it for the fans. They roar at the sight of that victory. And Reason and Noah will play this game out.
Reason, he end up maybe a little bit of practice in between the games of 4 and 5 on that 1v1 box fighting map makes a difference after all.
This is where Noah and Reason right now, they have a chance to start to build that confidence. We really haven't seen them in this position in a few games. Now they're able to win off spawn, right? And since they didn't have a lot of shields, they didn't lose a lot of HP. So in the overall Storm Surge battle, they had to have come out on top.
It's not often we get to see Chap and Flixie just farming things out. It's been so expected that they would have to try and duke it out for their spot south of New Sanctuary, but teams starting to realize, starting to understand, if we want any sort of momentum on the secondary half of today's lobbies, we're gonna have to survive it first, and Vico not gonna allow that for Cold.
I spoke to Vico in between that last game and he said, Levin, it's so hard at the top. Sky and Scroll don't give up. We're gonna have to make these next couple games count. And if this first fight is a sign of intent, then Sky and Scroll are gonna have to look closely over their shoulder. Vico and Malabuka are here to play for it all.
And you have to remember, Vico Malabuka, they've already done it once to Sky and Scroll. Granted, it took place in a Divisional Cup Finals, but the impact is still there. A lesson was learned. And for Chino Pablo, that might be teaching a really big one right here, right now, in a moment, to Jason Liam.
You gotta be careful. This is the same exact thing they did in that last game. They found it successful, and they're trying it again. Don't fix what isn't broken. Jason, Liam, they have not got the memo, and they're separated as 2 different individuals. Luckily for Jace, though, he's going to narrowly escape danger. He doesn't even know how close he just got to getting taken down by Chino and Pablo.
It's one of those instances where you can't help but hold your breath. You expect that Chino Pablo are still going to have the upper hand here. Liam, Jace, they're splitting the loot. They're feeling like they've gotten an ability to bring things together. And Pablo, Chino just staring them down. They know Jace is right behind. And Jace might be finished, but the patience, the reservation here, the trigger fingers not firing off.
That's just the little decisions that really carry on to the end game. Left instead of right, up instead of down. Jason, Liam don't know, but they made the right call.
Yeah, I don't know if that patience was worth it from Pablo and Chino, unless they come back around and get something better from it. In this meta, you just got to take the damage, I feel. And yeah, that opportunity has completely slipped through the fingers. Now Liam and Jace are long gone. Still, I understand why they didn't pull the trigger. They felt like they had a big fish waiting for them. Well, they didn't take the bait. Scroll, Sky. I mean, what more can we say about these two? Plenty to say about this situation here. Ju left alone as a solo against Yapko and Panzer, who we have seen them in box fights like this today, and they have been relentless.
Yeah, in terms of just straight damage and controlling the top side of the map, they've done a wonderful job so far. They just need to be able to convert that into either high elimination games or playing into the top 10 consistently to close the day. But for Ju, he's just kind of waiting in the wings. He just has to have this moment here where he does nothing. But Taco, he's officially on the clock. There's no extra heals in his inventory, and he's now in the zone.
And even if he's able to scavenge some bandages, a med kit, it just might not matter. Yakko and Panzer can hold him, but Curb getting braggy with it. I know that he's still got a long way to go before he makes his way towards the top, but every little bit helps at any stage.
Absolutely. Akira and Karama, a team we've seen much of in these mid-games. They've been an ever-present force, still yet to be the protagonist of one of these end games. Looks like they're going to run into Kindex and Phantom, who have something cooking up for them. Will these guys waltz into that building? I know they're hoping so.
This is part of the problem that kind of gets established over at Battlewood Boulevard when you have so many teams just setting up, posturing, preparing for the ultimate ambush. Akira, Karama, they're going to be spotted out first and foremost by Veno, who's trying to stir a little bit of a fuss here, but Curb on the other side of things, he might just be too isolated.
This is playing out perfectly for Phantom and QNDX. They get the elimination. The work works out perfectly. Now they're able to kind of bolster their loadout a little bit more, and for Veno, you can definitely feel the pain.
There's just too many buildings. There's too many hiding holes, and that's part of the reason why Akira is taking advantage of some of the chaos, but it's not the big punch you'd expect. Just a little bit to kind of lean off continuing that fight.
Well, all this is going down on the south side of Battlewood Boulevard. You got to think Sky and Skrull are getting the best of it, but Noah Riley trying to save the day. Razan is already down, but he's able to clean up one elimination rather quickly, kind of forcing the lone member there on the other side to try to make a decision. Do I push in or do I try to be the hero, get the reboot card, and come back to visit this situation later? Noah Riley does look like he's going to find success on that revive, so Panzer's time here has run out. No choice but to disengage.
But where does that leave them as far as this game is concerned? Recovery isn't impossible, but it is improbable, you'd say, for a team that has had their fair share of struggles today. Speaking of struggles, Ju on the other side, these are just not the two teams that this arena wants to see in this position right now.
You just can't forget, Ju's been here the entire time. While Yapko and Panzer were preoccupied trying to deal with the likes of Noah Riley and Razan, they encounter this whole new problem of Vadil now being brought back into the mix. Granted, there's still a lot of damage left to be undone here. Ju and Vadil have a far ways to go before they make it into zone. All of the teams that are ahead of them, all of the teams that could potentially be looking to run back this direction too for that reboot inside of the storm, it's just not going to be very easy to climb their way out.
Oh, sneak plays. We like to see them.
Wow. Oh my God, there, Lemon, he really thought he had it. The stair was in the way, and as soon as the stair came down, it was like a jump scare. A whole team jumping into the box, turning that one around rather quickly.
For a moment, I think we all thought that he had him, but darn Deemish, they understand. They cannot afford another lobby when the standings are this tightly knit. Going out before the placement points really have a chance to impact things would just be devastating, because all these other teams inside the top 6 specifically have more than enough opportunity to catch up and overtake.
Pixie and Squizzy over towards Squibbly Shores. Trying to make their move all the way over from Dark Dominion. Rather now instead of later with the rest of the lobby. It's going to make it hard to maintain your position on Surge. Ju probably spots out a reboot coming through, able to get a knock onto Yapko, but a whole nother duo comes to crash the party. And there's a 4 team at the bottom that's moving closer and closer, but the one right here that he has to worry about is Cold and Rapid. They're trying to close in on the distance, and while they're focused on Ju, a revive is going to come out. And Scary and Syaz as well. That was that 4 team I was talking about. Shoot off into the distance and clean up that elimination onto Ju.
That frustration really starting to build up, because when you are at that 80 to 90 points range, it's hard not to overtake it, but Rapid, Cold, don't get distracted now.
Yeah, we have to remember, for a team like Vadil and Ju, the prospect of falling and getting a top 15 to be able to solidify a spot for the global championship would be everything. These guys want more than that. And Yapko and Panzer, again, in one of these fights here in Storm, not somebody to play with, even if you're cold and rapid.
Fresh off of what looked like a revive situation down in the dirt. I'm not sure how they opened that one up on the cold. They took him down, and now they leave Rapid in a peculiar situation. He has enough gold. He can bypass this situation and try to get the reboot, but I'm not sure he wants to leave all that loot behind.
I just watched Yapko go from 15 builds to over 110. He got his loot llama. He doesn't need to stick around to see what happens next with Rapid. They know they need to get out of dodge and start actually making their way toward the zone by Rapid. He's sick of it. You're gonna rule my game. I'll take yours down with me. Yapko has been knocked. The delay now for Panzer. Do I commit or do I back off? But Rapid's not gonna let it happen.
Rapid, who are you feeling like? I mean, if this is what you're gonna do, then we really want to see more of you right now. Panzer needs to be careful because Rapid is not messing about. Even with the free builds he has, you still fancy him here to find something. Panzer just has to regain control, use the mat advantage he has to keep the distance, keep the separation, and keep the angles in his favor.
And for Rapid, that was huge. Going into a 2v1 situation at that, and now he's trying to put pressure. Doesn't want to let the revive come out. A fake shockwave, and the elimination comes through either way. Rapid kind of even in that exchange, but you could see he wasn't able to get any of that loot. Only 6 builds left to his name, so wherever he goes for that reboot, Panzer will be there.
He was so prepared for the challenge, but he had 0 materials. He could not afford to just charge head on into where Panzer was directed, but the damage has still been done. Panzer will have to play this game as a solo for the time being, and making it to a reboot ban with so many other teams closing in is not going to be easy.
Great to see that Miko and Malibuca are back up. Earlier in the game, I did see in the feed that they were taken down, left as a solo, but right back at it. That's what happens sometimes when you have Frigid Fortress to yourself. The zone goes to the south. There's a lot of open space and opportunity, which is needed by Miko and Malibuca. They're the team that's right on the heels of Sky and Skrull, especially for them that are performing so well.
Talking about teams putting in big performances. What we just witnessed from Pollo in that last lobby, absolutely disgusting, but they're going to need even more still. They're really going to have to put the pedal to the metal. They are still trailing in terms of top 5 potential here, but with Pollo and Peterbot, if they can keep firing off on all cylinders, it might just be game over.
The trend we've seen with Pete and Pollo is that they like to heat up towards the back end of competitions. And usually we see that in 6-game tournaments, right? Where game 5 and 6, they have their pop-off moment. We got a couple more games after that. What happens when that continues and continues and the momentum builds? Are they still a potential threat at the top of this leaderboard? These two will try and make that not possible with just how consistent they are.
It's just so scary, though, if you're Skrull and Sky, because you are leading the pack. You are ahead in the standings, but you also have all of that additional pressure. They are our Major 1 champions for EU, but even after that accomplishment, it's another thing entirely to pursue it and receive it and take it over in a LAN environment.
Essentially, this game right here, about a 46 or so point difference as of now. Sky and Skrull still leading in first, but you have multiple teams, including Acorn and Bolts, hot on those heels. And for them, they're 183 above the damage threshold. Bolts and Acorn have been playing consistent. They have a win in the tournament so far today. It's just about making it really matter in the last half. And I think one of the biggest difference makers, especially for a team like Acorn and Bolts, is they don't necessarily go elimination crazy.
Could be the case. Sharkantini, though, certainly a team that can deliver those big-time performances. Heavy elimination, strong placements, but first, they're gonna need to see if they can take out Garm and Deemish. Caught them a little bit off guard here, gonna force out the build's spot of retreat, but Shark is just beaming anybody he can in the lobby. He needs all the damage he can get right now because they are currently still sitting just above that damage threshold, and as the players start to rift in overhead of Humble Hills, this could be even more complicated.
Still, shots are connecting. He can't overstay. It is going to go from 2 tick per second that you're inside of the zone to 5 ticks, so he immediately tries to beeline his way there. Rightfully so, because you look at where the zone pulls all the way across the map. Max pull for the majority of the lobby. We're headed on over to Battlewood.
Pretty big confidence decision, though, from Shark. He was hanging out in the storm so far away from his duo, Teeny, and yet they weren't punished for it. They kind of scouted out the fact that they had an opening for Shark to kind of stick around, look to try and punish some players. We're a little bit later than the rest of the lobby, but now Swizzy, Pixie, they're on pace to try and take over the top half of that leaderboard.
See with just how this zone is shaping up. All those early rotations will be crucial. This isn't the type of zone where you want to be running in late. It is so easy to get focused here as these players move in. Pixie, Swizzy, looking for a refresh, looking for any sign of weakness. They won't find it in Vico Malabuka. Those guys are looking good. Shark and Teeny, a tournament-defining game for these two.
Yeah, as soon as they made it inside of the zone on this side of the map, Teeny immediately took damage from Belusi and Zangi down below. But I like the approach. Instead of getting aggressive and trying to fight back, they're letting them move forward. We'll follow them in the rotation with these shockwaves because right now we don't need Surge. We just need to survive.
But that pizza box was the last of their resources. They don't really have a whole lot in the White Heels department. And for Sky, Scroll, the pressure is on. Kanata, Victor B, trying to see if they could challenge and take down their EU opposition here. But Scroll and Sky will have none of it. They are protecting their space, refusing to allow anyone to try and catch them off guard.
Like, this is the point in the game. You almost have to have Sky and Scroll go down because this is where they excel the most in the end game, whether they're together as a duo or playing as individuals. So as the day continues to go on, depending on where they're at in the leaderboard, I want to see somebody try to make a play.
This is exactly what we were talking about. It was always going to be a tough task for Ritual to rotate in, and those guys took the opportunity. Again, we see Sky looking to, again, get a bit more of an advantage as far as Surge is concerned, not looking as comfortable as we typically see them.
And part of this issue is just stemming from the fact that when they were based up in their hill position, all that action was taking place on the south side of Battlewood Boulevard. They didn't really have the best opportunities to establish any early surge because everyone was hiding out inside the buildings instead. So that's bleeding over into their problems right now. But Shark Teeny, they're creating so many issues in the lobby.
Shark he's trying to cook something up right now. He might be overcooking. Just got to take a moment to breathe and stay and follow Teeny. Vico, what are these guys cooking?
That was tough. A big elim there because that is not just elimination. You saw they locked that player outside of the lobby. That means they're one step closer to placement, just like Peter Bot and Poyo. They caught fire in that last game. And what a better time to catch fire in the second half of today's tournament. 91 above the damage threshold. Peter Bot and Poyo are looking for more.
Will lightning strike twice is the question. Can we have another crazy performance that leads to a win for those two? There's plenty of people in this lobby who are going to get in the way of that. Vico and Malabuka poised to do just that from this position here. Great priority as far as being elevated into moving into that next zone. Sky and Scroll, this is just not where we want to see them, looking so uncomfortable, looking desperate for damage.
This is a nightmare of a scenario 11, 87 below the damage threshold. No extra heals. They're able to bump right up the top of that damage threshold, but they have to rotate again. They have no extra shields, but they're on the front side of the zone. They built themselves a little space. Shark and Teeny, aggression turns to bite them in the behind instead. They lose all of their shield, all of their momentum right there in that one moment.
But both still trying to keep it rolling here on the low ground. Vico Malabuka, they've had the chance to heal, and that might have been the only breathing room they needed. Vico Malabuka now gonna start to make their approach from the backside of zone. Who's going to be next? They're gonna continue to wrap around. They've got the white heals. They can afford to tank a couple of ticks of storm, but Bolt's coned up. Builds so limited. 80 left on the Chug Jug. He's gonna try and play his own life, buy a little bit more time. While Shark and Teeny, they've eliminated enough players, but can they get another? Because they're going to need the refresh.
Pollo is down, but that's okay. It's time for a flashback performance from Peterbot, but can he stop the freight train? That is Teeny and Shark. Bolts is doing his best, but he's just ran out of builds, trying to hide the cone. He gets found out. He's seeking for more. Victor B gets struck down by lightning, but Bolts cannot pick up the elimination. Even Scroll, they're feeling that same pain, separated once again.
But now it's Sky's turn to pick up the ball and carry it forward. Sky doing everything. 5 overdrive grenades, but only 39 HP. Flowberry missed grenade. He knows there's a team that could potentially be trying to make a play for height. He's going to be able to siphon off some shield from it, but first and foremost, he has to figure out where can I go next, because bodies are just surrounding him everywhere and they're closing in.
And even with Vico and Manabuka's best efforts in this game, the longer Sky stays alive, the harder it is to catch up. He is doing everything he needs to right now.
Yeah, into the top 12. After the placement points come in at that top 10 marker, but again, he's aggressed. Shockwave's out of position once more, but he's quickly running out of builds. A lot of his resources going right down the drain, but an opportunity there onto Darm. Breaks into the wall. Oh my, a perfectly placed ramp is going to save the day and allow for Sky to not get the elimination, but he's still on the hunt for more.
No build.
Armor.
Oh. He's going to keep hitting shots like that if they present themselves, and Sky now patiently waiting for that next opportunity to strike.
Sky trying to see just how far can he carry the torch forward, but look, from the land down under, way up above the rest of the lobby, Tinka and Resigns. They've just been silently building overhead, throttling everybody in these congested lower layers, and now Flixie, Jap, how will they respond? They have to contend with everybody underneath them. They might need to take out Ozone, who's directly in front, but still Flixie trying to just keep pushing forward.
Him and Chap are not slowing down. Even Sky, he will not be denied. He's essentially the inevitable player in this game. He does it again. He takes the crown away from King, puts it on his own head. Into the top 4 we go. This is a run like any other. Can Sky clutch up?
You thought Scroll could clutch, this guy can too, and he's done just enough to continue to keep that lead. Flixie will try and move above, but it's going to be the Oshi duo trying to close out this game and get the first dub on land for OCE.
Surely they won't let it happen. Surely Flixie won't actually take them out. And sure enough, Resigns and Tinka bring this one home. Game number 6 is all theirs.
The thunder from down under. The boys from OCE do it. They're putting their entire region on their back. They don't want to just win here. They want to go to the global championship.
Resigns! This isn't your first rodeo, but it is OCE's first win at an FECS LAN. How does it feel?
Honestly, it feels amazing. This is the best feeling. This is the best feeling.
Tinka, you haven't always had the best results on LAN, but here you are proving that it can be done for Australia and everyone watching back home. You had the high ground, you had it clean. Did you know once you had established yourself that this was in the bag?
I think the main thing is just to play with confidence. You got to forget your OC and you just got to play like you do at home, and it works.
It worked. Was always the intention to go for high ground?
I mean, yeah, like on LAN, everyone's pretty scared, so like we just don't play scared. We just take height, don't die.
It's our good friend Queasy. He established that one a while ago and it's clearly working for you. But the key thing now is consistency. You haven't had the best game so far, but do you feel like this win is going to give you the confidence now to get off spawn and get to the finish line?
100%.
Well, boys, congratulations again. Making history for OCE. It's Tinka and Resigns. We're going to head to a break and maybe more history will be made.
I got hit with that one. I'm popping a medkit. Wait, short. Got 6 builds? No, max up. Wait, if you're mid, wait. 100! 100! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
And so now, Seti, Kanza, Yakko looking to remind the rest of the opposition that they are in it for the win.
It's Pixie, it's Marius, and Vanya. If they want the win, this is the moment. No, what is in front of them, and they want to take it by force. They already have second place locked in. It's all.
Fortnite fam, today is truly a movie. Resigns and Tinka get themselves a victory royale, the first ever victory royale from OCE on LAN. I think what's so crazy about this is we're watching the game in the back, and for a moment everything's kind of going chaotic, and then we look up and we're like, Resigns and Tinka, okay, well, maybe they can hold it. I mean, there's so many of the names that we know will contest height. They're not here. They're gonna win. Wait, OCE's gonna get a win. Wait, OCE's gonna get a win.
An incredible effort from the guys. And as you can take a look right here, it's not like they kind of jumped up on the high ground the last second, right? They were kind of holding this throughout the entirety of the end game. Kind of the meta within the meta here on LAN in game number 6, taking a little bit of a change, because as been watching through all of the games today, it's kind of been a mess up there on the high ground. But Resigns, they have kind of figured out a way to suppress the rest of the lobby, go ahead and continue themselves up on the high ground. They end this game as well with 9 eliminations. That's going to throw them so much further up the leaderboard.
Yeah, I think going into that game, the cutoff was around 150 points-ish, and I believe they've surpassed that with that match. Now, obviously, we've got to see how the points continue to kind of change from all the other teams that also placed well, but they have a solid chance of getting top 15 now, and not only being the first OCE team to ever win a game on LAN, but also qualify themselves directly to the Global Championship.
Oh man, of course, massive shout outs to them. But as we look at this top 10, Sky and Scroll are at 352 points. What I like about this game is now we finally get to see a Sky solo clutch, right? We've seen a few Scroll side, but now Sky's like, hey guys, listen, I know that guy can clutch, but I want to make sure that you know that I can clutch too.
These guys give it a rest, man. Like, holy moly.
Rest.
We're trying to have a close race here towards the end of the competition. It's like, oh man, the duo looks like they're going to go down early. Yeah, the duo went down early. There's still one of them left, though, every single time. I think more than half, actually, I'm pretty sure more than half of their total point amount right now is 100% through solo clutch points. Like, it is incredible the performance these guys are putting on right now.
I mean, this happened back in the EU Major Finals. I talked about it earlier on that Sky is just as capable to get these solo clutches. But I remember I was telling Vivid, right, when we were watching this match, I said, okay, Sky, he's got like 17 HP. You know, he can solo clutch, but it's going to be a little tough. He shut me right up in an instant when he just came through zone, elimination. I mean, I don't even know how many points he clutched in that match, but both players have been playing incredibly, and they deserve that #1 spot they're currently sitting at.
Dude, they can see it, right? They can see the light at the tunnel. They can see that trophy. They can see themselves wearing the little crown on the top of that trophy. They better wear it when they stand up here. But now it's about holding on, right? Where like I'm going to continue to say, the job's not done. We still have 2 more games to go. Look right behind, though. Vico, Malabuka. We are seeing them come alive. This is the Vico we have seen in the past. It has won all kinds of stuff. Vico is online, and he sees one thing standing between him and that trophy, and it's Sky and Scroll.
A super, like, nuanced approach I feel like we're kind of seeing from Vico and Malabuka in the second half of the day right now is that they sort of go ahead and play around with the fact that, you know, they go up towards the high ground, they're up there for a little bit, and then they kind of just start to feel a little bit uncomfortable, so they drop all the way back down to the low ground continuously, and this is where they really start to make things happen. Every single time we kind of tune in them when they're up on the high ground down here, it's like low mats, but they continue to find the refreshes to keep their game going.
And they have low mats because they changed their playstyle from last season to this season. This season, they play incredibly confidently. They have some of the highest average eliminations. They even had it in the upper bracket qualifying through today in the EU Major Finals. They know how to get eliminations, but they also use a lot of mats. They run out of materials, but they are so confident in their ability to get refreshes that they just make it work.
And one thing that I love doing whenever we kind of see some of these players go down, obviously this was a great game from Vico and Malabuka, right? But the reaction there when they do finally go down, it didn't really seem like Malabuka was happy with that one at all. And to me, that feels like he knows that the chase is on between him and first place, and every single point matters. So anytime he goes down, it sort of feels like a failure because he's not catching up.
Look, there's a reason Vico Malabuka were the only duo to have not taken storm damage in this whole tournament. I'm impressed.
Dude, me too. I'm also impressed by Acorn and Bolts. Obviously, we swapped places with Vico and Malabuka, but right now, this is NA's last hope, right, to walk away with a title for NA. But with 2 games left to go, I think now more than ever, we need to pick up that pace. We need to make something happen if we're targeting that #1 spot.
Yeah, after we kind of take a look at the leaderboard when this event finishes, if we do not see a team like Acorn and Bolts up in first place, I think we have to look towards game number 6 right there because they were so close, right? They were sitting up there top 3. It seemed like all of the points were just, you know, they were in distance, striking distance. But they go down early in game number 6. They don't get a lot of points right there, right? It kind of feels like they falter just a little bit. They had the momentum. It gets slowed down. They've got 2 games left to kind of catch up. Can they do it?
You said it yourself. A couple matches left. This is where you start feeling the pressure. This isn't a 2-day competition. This is the last chance that these players have to crown themselves FNCS Major 1 Summit champions. The top 3 are all titans, legends in Fortnite competitive. I don't know. It's gonna be close.
Dude, I don't know. I'm starting to think about that top 15. Let's scroll on over. Let's see. Oh, dude, Chap and Flixie jumped up 12 placement spots after that last game. I'm telling you, I'm gonna keep saying it. 1 game. 1 game can turn every single thing around. If the competition was over, right? Technically, it should be. That was game number 6. But we have 2 more here. 1 game can put a duo into that top 15.
Look, there's a reason Flixie was the best performing player in 2025 trios as a German, representing in his home turf right now. Everything is on the line. He's had a tough drop spot. He's had tough early games, but they've been making it work. They've been making it happen. And now with that bump in the leaderboard, Vivid, I'm excited to see how they close it out.
Guys, I want to keep talking. I do, but the games are ready. I feel like we just got to jump back into the action. So, casters, over to you.
You know, with 2 games left, it almost feels like we have 2 tournaments in one. A battle for first place, the best in the world, and our top 15 are global championship spots.
It is going to be a tight finish. That is one thing I can guarantee you. All over the leaderboard, we're seeing so many big names that we've expected things from fighting and converging all into this game number 7.
If there was ever a chance, if there was ever an opportunity to try and steal it away, Game 7 might just be your best bet. The drone shot, it's not coincidental. What's going to take place at Battlewood Boulevard?
This is where we've been waiting for quite some time. Sky and Scroll, and it seems as of now, business as usual, uncontested towards the north side of the map. So if we're expecting any surprises on first, it's going to come in the last game of the day.
Understandably, I think they could have went either way as far as looking to try and make the play to win the tournament. Around the map though, again, the desk hyped it up, and we will continue to as well. So many different teams pushing for top 15, a chance to qualify themselves for the Global Championship in Antwerp. No Riley and Reason, we've seen them win this off spawn in that previous game. Outside of that, it's not been the best of fortunes.
There's definitely a big point differential between these two teams that are clashing head-on as well. For Reason and Noah Riley, they're going to need a big come-up to try and cut the gap. But for Danikush and Tiggs, losing every off-spawn from this point forward would be devastating because that's likely a global spot on the line.
Tune into this side of the map, Chap, Flixie, even though they didn't get that elimination, Tinka is down. Romero is the one that's going to get credit for that one, but either way, Resigns is going to be by himself, and Chap and Flixie are starting to go on the chase. They're closing the gap, one box away, but it does look like he's trying to fight back until eventually they're closing in and get that elimination from on top to on bottom.
Reminding us why they are two top fighters, the pinch from both sides. He had nowhere to run and nowhere to hide.
And it's crazy to think that at one point, even before leading into Globals, when they first found their spot cemented for this competition, a lot of the community was asking, when are they going to split? Chap and Flixie, we haven't really seen them shine the way that they both look to be as individuals, and yet here today, they are proving that sticking it out has paid off dividends.
Over here at Sandy Strip, more shenanigans. Will there be any damage dealt from it? Not Puccino in that instance.
This looks like they're going to take their time this time around. With one less team to worry about, they just saw them leave Sandy Strip. They got a little bit more space to work with, a little bit more loot to try to get this time around. As Tiggs, Danikush, we did see in the feed, they got an elimination onto one, but Reet and Cooper, they quickly crashed the party. This game, I feel like it's gonna move at a swift pace, everybody realizing what's at stake, but it may cause some mistakes in the game plan. Reet and Cooper taking probably way too much damage, they would hope, trying to third party this fight.
It's less about Danikush and Tiggs and more about where Vico and Malabuka are at. Vico taking every single advantage given to him from just overhead. Finding those damage applications off the surge tags is just going to keep applying steady pressure, steady control. Sharkantini, though, they're taking over.
Sharkantini started the day loud, but as the race for first place slowly slips them by, this game could be the one that pushes them back into contention. Peterbot, Hoyo, something left to be desired from their last game. They look to make amends here.
They have two chances to really make a run for the top side of that leaderboard, and right now they go to lurk onto one, realizes he's caught out by himself, but they're unable to capitalize. No real damage, no real knock, and it does look like NoSif is going to try to close the gap. Peterbot landing a couple of tags, sees him trying to run, and they instantly close the distance with a shockwave. NoSif again, causing a little bit of confusion, but he bumps into the tree until he eventually goes down. Peterbot and Poyo realize where they're at on the leaderboard, and if they want to take first, they're going to have to come online.
And Poyo and Peterbot are doing just that. They'll go ahead and start leaving the vicinity because they realize there's other games afoot.
We've seen them pick up one of Izzy or NoSif in these games and still go on to struggle later down the line. It's about piecing it all together as the game continues. If they have any shot of having a respectable finish for players of their caliber.
Things might get a little sticky here, though, at Riptides. Focus and Thomas waning on their material count, but Nalu just overhead. creeping about, waiting to see if the opportunity presents itself. Will they strike? Sometimes it's best to remain out of sight, out of mind, and just look for the reboot opportunity.
Just kind of looking right now. Tom is focused. They have 2 eliminations. You saw kind of backtrack. Nalu had at least 1, so it almost seems like Tom is focused, crashed the party that Nalu and Rainy were in. And so Nalu has no choice but to hide, disengage, and try to survive for now. Swizzy, Pixie, again, almost everybody in this lobby moving at such an accelerated pace. A lot of the teams were not even seeing remaining in their POI like usual.
And this is something that has taken Swizzy and Pixie some time to figure out, but all of that contention that took place over at Dark Dominion, helping them out so much later on down the road. Curve and Veno, they're ready to take out Kurama and Akira. Enough of the games. They're just going to win it all.
And look, it's not quite been the night that Veno and Curve would have been hoping for after they lit up NA. But there have been signs of greatness and plenty to learn from as this duo continues their journey. And who knows, maybe a back-to-back crazy pop-off gives them a chance of solidifying a spot in Globals. Chino, Pablo, we've seen these guys trying to make plays like this all day long. Sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't. This time around, in the tunnel.
Yeah, underneath painted palms. The original teams that kind of land over at this side of the map have kind of been distracted for a good portion of this early game, but they do hear noise. Reet and Cooper up above, farming up the metal that they don't necessarily get access to over towards Latte Landing. But it's just a matter of, do they hear that chest? Are Reet and Cooper going to try to go underneath and try to get it all?
If Chino and Pablo are willing to wait it out, something tells me they have a pretty good idea that Reet and Cooper are eventually going to keep searching for additional loot, and playing from inside of the tunnel could be a big difference maker, but we'll have to wait and see whether that actually pans out in their favor. It's a big time commitment either way.
Last time we waited in Game 6, it didn't quite pan out, so they'll be hoping for better fortune this time around. Oh, what do we have here? Vardial up against Panzer and Yapko again in the storm here at Painted Palms. And again, Yapko and Panzer will come out on top.
Yeah, to start this game off, 15th place was 174 points, so they got at least a little bit of a goal line to try to achieve. Reet and Cooper as well, 148 points currently, a little below where they need to be, but that's why you can see they're lurking around trying to get the eliminations at 4 points per elimination. If they could just find a couple here, have a good game, they'll at least put themselves within reach going into Game 8.
But look, even if it's a one tick, they're not the only ones that have those same intentions. Pablo, Chino, they've just been steadily following along at a snail's pace. Only they'll have the opportunity to at least use a couple of bandages, put themselves in a slightly healthier HP position. Reet and Cooper though, clock's ticking, splashes are gonna have to come out. They're building against the direction that Yapko and Panzer are facing, and they might be running straight into the clutches of Pablo and Chino.
So just one of those moments right here for Chino and Pablo. They've been all around the map lurking, and you see how early they left that sandy strip, and you saw their material count. They sacrificed loot, they sacrificed loadout, everything, because they realized one of the most important things in this entire tournament is Surge.
And look, some lessons to be learned here for Pablo and Chino as far as just investing that time and waiting for the payoff. And even they eventually will have a point in which they say, maybe we don't want to do this, but maybe they do. Reet not too far away, but no, they will continue to run back towards the safe zone with nothing to really show for it, and now negative damage to show for it.
Negative Surge, not a whole lot of material count. They've had to spend the brunt of this lobby essentially just waiting to see if any of their plans would even come to fruition. And with all of it being just a nothing burger at the end of it, there's just so much that they have to now try and recover.
While one team waits in the mud, another team sits from their perched up seat from above, These guys, honestly, you could capture this frame here and tell me it was from any game this season and I'd believe you. They love that spot and it does pay dividends for them.
Very scary zone to see as well if you are Vico, Malibuca, Acorn, or Bolts, because you know that not only are Sky and Scroll in a home base position, but they're also in very familiar turf. They know how to navigate these final moments from this side of the map, and if it continues drawing in their direction, that's going to make it all the more complicated for Vico and Malibuca to even have the slightest opportunity, because they need to eliminate Sky and Scroll or put them in a position where the lobby can take care of them. But when you have to make such a long trek across the map to even get close to them in the first place, those opportunities, you just start to think back, was the Battle Bush Challenge where we should have been?
You have to have the courage to make the tournament winning plays. It's something we see on a weekly basis, Jacob, as far as EU and NA competition goes. Teams are willing to make those plays. We've seen Vico and Malibuca make those types of plays against Sky and Scroll. It's a matter of stepping up when the lights are the brightest here on the stage.
Honestly, it was Vico I heard in between games just kind of yelling to, I don't even know who, saying we're doing this. He's trying his best. He realized one of the only ways is to get those eliminations. That's why each and every game you see them getting more and more aggressive. Lucy, Zangi, same thing for them. They're roughly 64 points away from that top 15, and that means every elimination counts. But as he tries to shoot down, get damaged, it gets stolen away by Hari and Cammy, and they're instantly closing the distance. If not for the elimination itself, which you saw Belusi kind of cleaned up, it's for the loot that they feel that they earned.
For Cammy and Hari, they're really just trying to find a chance to step it up yet again. We've only really seen them once hit the highlight reel, and ever since, it's just been so difficult. But that is the caliber of lobby that they are contending with. Ritual Agers, very much in a similar boat. They're trying to do everything in their power to see how can we actually leapfrog our position on this leaderboard. But if you're going to make these kinds of drawn-out plays, you've got to hope that you're ahead of the rest of the lobby, and they're doing a great job at positioning themselves for every zone.
And that's the beauty of the summit, right? Of course, we get to crown the champion, but the implications for the rest of the year. Imagine how valuable it would be for Ritual and Angels, who we have seen the struggles they've had with their off-spawn situation. If going into the next major, they have a spot at Globals already. They need to keep this up to keep a top 15 global spot.
Shark and team.
Oh, dear.
Rotating through, Sky goes down. Peterbot and Poyo, they've done this year after year, whether it's duos or trios, they go after her. It's the best chance they got. And now we're scrolling down to 40 HP, forcing out the splashes. Look how close the zone is. Third parties are now interrupting this fight. Peterbot and Poyo know at a time, if they stay alive, it'll become mathematically impossible. So they have to slow down the point game here. It's now or never, because if Sky and Scroll continue to stay alive, this tournament will be over.
Peterbot and Poyo, they don't want to let Scroll have any sort of chance to slip away from them. They are chasing him down, hard body, but at the same time, the lobby, the interventions, but it's not going to save Scroll, not just yet. And look at the direction he's headed, straight into the likes of Shark and Teeny, and they might have heard all the commotion. They're right around the building face. All they need is to see whether or not Scroll is right behind them, but he's managed to escape. Every second counts, and now, just like that, Scroll sends out a shot. Teeny's alerted, Shark looking back, but Scroll's on the ropes. These are his last legs.
71 HP, and right now they're chasing him down, and that HP is not going to last long, especially if it activates, but Shark doesn't let it come to that. They are down in 39th place. We have a tournament on our hands.
Vico and Malibuca, this has to be the game to bring it to number 8 and give yourself the best shot at taking that trophy home.
But do they realize only 73 above? They know that they cannot afford to step the slightest bit out of line. Surge going to jump in a moment. 99% of Malibuca and Vico's points being earned with both players is ridiculous.
These are two players who we usually praise them for their individual solo prowess. That hasn't been what's been delivering the goods today. It's been their teamwork and their efforts together, and they need that here.
For a moment, we saw second and fourth about to clash. But you have to remember who's also in the mix. Acorn Bolts cutting it right down the middle in third.
This is so close, and even them, 522 above the damage threshold. Even though only 21 players need to go down before it's no longer a thing, they are so far above, they're not going to have to worry about it. So this here is a moment for them to just weaken the lobby, try to take them out one by one by one.
Swizzy and Pixie. Spotlight's on you right now. Can you break away from it, though? They'd rather play you through the shadows. They don't want the attention of the lobby, not when their material count is already so thin. But Pixie, Swizzy know that everything's working against them, and just like that, Saez is gonna strike. Pixie is down for the count, but Swizzy, in a moment of peril, manages to bring it forth. 100 builds now. He's got the potential to see how long he could cling on for life.
Both of our solo clutch players there in that situation. Even Ritual getting an elimination, but you can see when the dust settles, Swizzy got that elimination, but he's still 244 below. He realizes he cannot keep Pixie up in the game. They don't have enough heals to out-heal it.
And this is a big moment for every single one of those players in that top 5 or 6 area. This is your chance to close the gap and make game number 8 a final battle between all these different teams.
Swizzy, he's got the HP. Tyler, definitely in some threats, but Sharktini, they're really starting to pick up the pace here. Werix and Kiruo are going to be some of the next in their line of sights. They've already got one piece of the puzzle. They don't even need to go after the next. They'd rather keep tabs on what the rest of the lobby is doing, but they're gonna have to get active. Epic Whale and Pomp, this is the last thing you want to see charging right at you, but for Shark and Teeny, their moment is now.
Really just trying to take over in this game. They had a few stumbles that they didn't expect, but with first place down, they're trying to close that gap. You can see they're neck and neck with Acorn and Bolt on that leaderboard. Even Shadow and Virgo looking back. Tyler is down. That's an elimination for Shadow. 4 more points, but they're not going to be able to get the loot.
Yeah, Bob. What's he cooking up? Hammy and Ari. Blink and you might miss it. They are sent right back to the lobby.
But look at where Shark and Teeny are positioned. They're doing a great job at elevating themselves, and they're not the only ones. Bolts, Acorn, also sitting idly by, waiting to see just how much effort they're going to have to put forth into this next rotation, because they might be able to conceal themselves on the move, but Peterbot and Pollo, they're after the big ones. They're trying to go fishing for some more eliminations. 4's just not gonna be enough. They want the comeback more than ever.
Yeah, they're not just playing for prize money. They're not just playing to qualify for the global championship. They are playing for first place. We saw that as they went on to Sky and Scroll, but with them going down, opens up an opportunity for Vico and Malibuca. They quickly transition from the backside of the zone all the way to the front, especially more so now because we're going uphill. But Peterbot and Pollo from low ground to into the clouds.
We've seen them climb bigger mountains before. A win here, and even more eliminations could be just enough to put them in contention.
They've got all of the pieces strewn together here. Pete just trying to see who else he can take out. So many players just so incredibly weak underneath them. If they can prevent anybody from challenging this layer on high, ultimate high ground will be their winning contention point. But Teeny still going directly underneath it all. A decent amount of builds to work with, trying to see if he can commit towards that front side of zone. But eventually he'll have to layer swap. Eventually he'll need to find a refresh. And it's the same instance that Swizzy's currently trying to deal with.
Much worse though, no builds and no time left. He goes down, but for Teeny, this is another chance, still tied at 285 points with Acorn and Bolts. They're still alive in this game, but they're staying back. They're staggering themselves. This is a clue, a chance for them to go for high ground. Vico and Malibuca, it's not ready for them yet. They're just continuing to take it one foot in front of another. They don't want to make any big leaps or boundaries just yet.
Ooh, and Vico's gonna land Another one, just a warning shot, won't get a chance to collect, but at least he's got his way forward. Cooper, Reek, also finding Acorn. This is a travesty now for one of our top 3 teams, because Acorn and Bolts, they'll have to watch and see what happens next. But look at Vico and Malibuca. The one thing that they're missing, they're finding this damage, but they don't have the Flowberry Mist Grenades to make it to height.
Another couple eliminations here. They're trying to close the gap, 326 points. They're still in second, but with top 10 here, a chance to win the game. All the opportunity in the world is theirs. King underneath just trying to escape. Vico, Malibuca not getting desperate just yet. Meanwhile, Reet and Cooper getting pressured from not only above, but below as well. Everybody can feel what's at stake with only 2 games left, but Vico, Malibuca, they steamroll King. They want to take first.
And that is exactly what they needed to do. The job is not finished. They have to continue to clear out the layers beneath them while Pete and Poyo wait from above, waiting for their opportunity to strike down below.
And it's insanity to think that all this time, Teeny has just been haggling his way through these layers undisturbed. But Pete, he's ready to drop. He's ready to throw his name into the mix and really start the demolition derby underneath. Poyo still by his side. Just when you think that they're about to find some more eliminations, Vico realizes he's all by himself.
The pressure is mounting. He needs to hit this shot or get out of the box. Either one will do. Just stay alive, Vico.
Top 6 teams. 4 of them are stuck as solos here, but for Reet and Cooper, they have each other. Vico, we saw Malibuca go down. You see with only 3 builds left, empty item slots, no extra heals. It's really all up to them. Peterbot and Poyo, their 6th elimination of the game, and it's on the next team in their path.
And that's the worst case scenario now for Vico and Malibuca, but check out Cooper, check out Reet. They've got Craze. Now it's all about them trying to take out some of these other Titans in the lobby. Another refresh for Reed onto Ozone, and now they just gotta look up.
Here comes the drop. Peterbot and Poyo, they want the back-to-back. Big shot on the Reed. Poyo will not go down, but Peterbot will, so he's stuck by himself yet again. Another 1v2. That feeling of deja vu. Can Poyo do it? Shockwaving up, looking to create distance. A chance to put down pressure, following the zone. He knows that Reed and Cooper are weak, but he doesn't want to play this too quickly, but he's letting Cooper heal down below. This is not what you want, but Poyo finally landing another shot on the Cooper, who shockwaves up. They're trying to attack from both sides. Poyo with everything here. It's all or nothing. He does it again. Another big shot. Poyo will not be denied. A 1v1. Poyo versus Reed. NA versus NA. Poyo has taken the crown away from Peterbot, and he's placing it on his own head.
This is what it looks like. You are looking at one of the greatest to ever play this game.
All roads lead to Poyo every single time. Just when you think that he won't be able to do it, he delivers yet again.
Peterbot, what is it like playing with the best player in the world?
I mean, it feels great.
It is incredible to watch you. Poyo, you were so humble last time I spoke to you. You were like, they had no mats when you won the 2v1. You had no mats either in that situation. How did you do it this time?
I don't know. I mean, I don't even know.
It was the 1v2. It was versus Reet and Cooper. You're flying through the sky. We think maybe there's going to have to be a heal off. You're reloading in the air. You're an absolute rock star. But how do you stay calm in those situations when everything is going on?
I just knew they had nothing. Like when we first dropped down, they weren't really building or anything, so I knew they had nothing.
And you were able to keep it on clean on height this time, Pete. So you must have been feeling like, yeah, we've got this.
Yeah, 100%. We played height perfectly that game, and it was just a textbook win.
It was a textbook win. You were 9th going into this one, but now you can have your sights truly on the trophy. Qualification surely for Globals is yours. You just need top 15 for that. But what are we going to see from you two in Game 8?
I can't say. You'll see.
Look at that camera and tell me, are you switched on? He doesn't need to say anything. Stay with us, Düsseldorf, after this break. We crown a champion!
got here with that one off. I'm popping in that bit. Wait, short. Got 6 build? No, max up. Wait, if you are mid play. 100! 100! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
This is cinema! Listen, production, give me a camera on Facts. Facts, stand up right now. Can you hear me? Facts, give Peter Buss some love, baby. We're back, baby. We are back. Let's go. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry you guys had to see that NA bias mask off. Here we are, guys. Why does it always happen like this, Vivid? Why does it always happen like this? It's like, Peter Bot, like, he's one of the best players in the world. Oh, he's not doing that hot. Then he comes back, and it's like, when it matters, oh, just kidding. He's just showing up. 2 victory royales on the day in a finals lobby of the quality and caliber of this lobby, both coming down to solos from Poyo.
This is just the same story over and over and over again, it feels like. Over on NA regionally, and even globally speaking, so many times these guys start to get counted out as the games start to get deeper and deeper. And then somehow, some way, these guys just fly up the leaderboard. They find the momentum that they need. They find the energy from the crowd, the fans, from people like Facts, and they just ride with it, man. And it's all in the back of Poyo. How many 1v2s is this guy gonna pull off today?
Unbelievable. I feel like we've seen this before. Poyo has this meta, has this shotgun, this Chaos Reloader down to a T. The way that he's moving in these 1v2 situations is unbelievable. The timing that he seems to have on all of his loot in his inventory, knowing when to stay back in the storm, when to heal up, when the shotgun's reloaded in his inventory, and then when he can go for the next shot. He is so in tune with the game right now, and it's showing there in the end game.
His approach, by the way, Peter Bot and Poyo's approach, to that game seemingly was focused around the strats that Sky and Scroll have been known to kind of implement. Because remember, if we think back to the middle of that game, who did they push? Who did they eliminate? Sky and Scroll themselves. Of course, they only got one of those eliminations, but they did enough damage to effectively render them useless. If they're going to make a push for this win here at the Summit with 1 game left remaining, they've got to do that exact same thing again.
Oh my gosh. And I'm getting word production has a listen in from that game. Let's check it out.
Nice. Pizzas. Shock him out, maybe. Nice. Good build. Shock up. Let's go! Oh my god, let's go! Let's go!
Oh my gosh, I love that Pete's just giving Pollo the moment to focus on in there, to make sure he needs what he has to have complete calm in that moment, to find and land the shot. What's crazy too, we saw this fight happen not that long ago, right? Pollo also eliminated Reed along the way to get his previous victory royale. Man, Miniminder, we have one game left to go, and take a look at these standings up 6 placements. Peterbot and Pollo 306 at the top. Sky and Scroll 352. Vico and Malabuka at 342. And honestly, even look one row down, Teeny Shark 301. Boys, this is coming down to the final game.
It's always interesting going to the final game, isn't it? How does it always happen? It's always coming down to the wire, and for Sky and Scroll in that last game, unfortunately for them, they went down super early. Their first stumble in every single game we've seen them today, and it's so unfortunate for them. What it means for the rest of the lobby is that they can now push up on through. But for Sky and Scroll, this was the moment. This was the game where they could have solidified their win. They've taken it all the way down to the wire, Vivid, all the way down to the last game.
And this one's got to feel bad, right? Because you caught it out earlier, Miniminder. You were looking for the chink in the armor for this duo.
Yeah.
It doesn't even really look like they did anything for this game. I mean, we tuned in with them. It was like 140 builds available for them. They were 400 above the Storm Swords threshold. There was one problem. Pete and Pollo were in the lobby.
Can
exactly
you see
right.
in the background? Pollo is looking in right over.
Oh my gosh.
Are you guys catching that in production?
Yeah.
Are you guys catching? They are looking at us. They're like, could we see an invitational type situation? Could we see, look at him, Pollo still looking at Sky and Scroll. I cannot believe it, guys, with a single game left. We can't also forget Vico Malabuka. Remember, Vico Malabuka are firing on all cylinders right now. They've been trying to catch up to Sky and Scroll, and now Peterbot and Pollo cleared the way. Now they're up front. They can make this happen.
10 points behind, I think it was there on the standings. They could actually do it right here. They made the most of the fact that Sky and Scroll went down early on in this game, and I was watching them a lot during this endgame. The way that they played this endgame, this huge refresh onto Kingaling right there. Even the understanding. They had a really nice 10-zone pullback, which really helped them out. They didn't need to go for too many crazy refreshes, too many crazy frags. They understood they could play that zone, play inside of those boxes that have already been built, and then ride out those placements, because for these guys right now, they don't need to do too much. 10 points behind, I think it was, as we'll have a look right now. Yeah, 10 points behind the leaders. Honestly, Vivid, they could do it.
They very well could. Vico and Malabuka have been so dynamic throughout the day. It feels like every single game, it feels like they're kind of playing different. Acorn and Bolts there in 5th place. If you kind of paid attention, 3rd place, Pete and Pollo, there we at 306 points. Acorn and Bolts in 5th place, we're on 295 points. So as it currently stands, only an 11-point difference between 3rd and 5th. As you can see right there, refocused in on the battle between 1st and 2nd as it seemingly stands. Vico is locking in.
And this is bigger than just this tournament. This is bigger than just this game. This is legacies on the line. Are the new kids on the block, Sky and Scroll, are they the real deal? Is it going to be the older guard? Vico, Malabuka, players that have been here, that have done it in Peterbot and Pollo. This is where we find the answer to that question. Who will cement their legacy, or who will rekindle theirs that so many thought was lost?
Genuine chills just went up and down my arms as I'm taking a look at the POVs of these players right now. The vibe meter that Levin was kind of talking about, I feel like it's been so high throughout the course of this tournament for Vico and Malabuka. Right now, they seem so stern.
Yeah.
Has the pressure finally hit going into the last game?
That's exactly what I want to talk about. That's exactly what I want to talk about. We have one game left to go. 5 duos all in contention. You could even argue that top 6 as well. Half of these players have been in this type of situation before, right? Even look at someone like Shark and Teeny, right? Shark This is his kind of first time being in this situation. This is the hardest and the most intense. The pressure is going to be on them.
Yep.
Look at Sky and Scroll, same thing, right? Vico, Malabuka, Pollo, Peterbot, they've been here before. They know what that last game looks like. This is a rare Vico we don't often see. The focus, the quiet Vico. Pollo, look at him. He doesn't look scared. He looks focused. He looks like he's in his element. He's clutched twice already. The pressure. This is it. All eyes are on this stage. All eyes on these 5 duos. That's the question, isn't it, David? It's the pressure.
The pressure is what makes the difference every time. Every single one of these players that we've kind of interviewed throughout the weekend, they all try to seem like they're cool, calm, and collected. They try to make it sound like nothing really bothers them. But does anybody ever really believe those answers? I would have a very hard time myself believing it, especially when you take a look at some of the facial expressions that we are getting going into a game that feels like it's weighted so heavy.
This is the time, though, to turn those doubters into believers.
Absolutely.
In the future, when we talk about the team that ends up going in to win this, we can say they have done it. They have been there. In some cases, in Vico Malabuka's case, they came so close. In Peterbot's and Pollo's case, they've done it already. Let's see if we can do it again. How are things going to go down for Sky and Scroll as well? Newer players coming on through here. Can't wait.
Guys, Fortnite fam, this is it. The last game out of the FNCS Summit. We are looking to crown champions. The top 15 will move on to the Global Championships. One last game settles it all. Casters, over to you.
This is it, the final moment here on the Summit land, where 50 points separate our first place team and our entire top 5.
And you wouldn't think that the margins should be this slim with the way that we've seen so many of these teams having their respective highlight moments throughout the course of today's game. But it all comes down to this. Game 8, let's see it.
Everybody at home, everybody in this arena, we're all asking ourselves the same question. Will Peterbot and Pollo do it again? Year after year, championship after championship, they are the ones known to do it all.
We have seen crazy plays happen in final games all year long. It's Fortnite heritage at this point. But this time around, it looks like everybody is going to do their best from their own spot. Damo and Kazi, are they going to play spoiler here? What's going on? Hold on a minute. Scroll and first.
He gets the AR. He gets tagged up though. HP. And down. First place is out of the game early.
Kazi and Damo are public enemy number 1 of this lobby. They're not even gonna leave it for Vico Malabuka, Peterbot and Pollo to decide. They take the battles up and duke it out over at Llama's Landing. But Sky and Scroll, what a heartbreaking finish. The point disparity just not enough. This is the deciding sequence of events.
I don't think anybody in this building was expecting that to go down how it just did. And just like that, the door is wide open for any one of those teams in that top 5 to try and win the tournament.
I think everybody that is playing in this lobby now saw that in the feed and realized what's at stake. And for Peterbot and Pollo, in that last game, they didn't land on them. They went and hunted them down. Now, Taco, there's only one team in their path.
But you can't forget about who else is hot on their heels. Shark and Teeny. Only 5 points separating them between the next spot on the leaderboard. And with that in the back of their minds, sure, you can keep Vico and Malabuka, but if the fight takes too long, you might just be cooked for it.
Skull died. Skull died. Skull died. Sky's gonna play. I'm fine.
Be calm. Yeah, I know.
Stay calm. Malabuka reminding Vico, the job is not finished. Stay calm. Our chance to strike is now.
We're having all these conversations about Vico Malabuka, Sharktini, Peterbot Pollo. We can't leave Acorn and Bolts out of the mix. 295 points. I believe not too far behind them either. Swizzy and Pixie sitting around that 274 threshold. But Wonky Land fairly undisturbed for the time being. Teeny and Shark just going to surge base it out. But at this rate, the lobby is going to be picking up in pace rapidly because currently every single one of these teams you would anticipate, maybe they try to take out each other. Maybe the gloves just come off with Sky and Scroll being out of the lobby, but they don't want to risk what they feel like is their best shot at first.
I mean, as the game goes on, the room for shenanigans tightens. And honestly, it just becomes about putting your best foot forward and playing your best Fortnite here in game number 8. There is still so much to play for, not just that first place trophy, all across the lobby. Players desperately fighting for a spot in the top 15 to qualify for globals. And now everybody left in this one is playing for something here.
But why not me? That's got to be the theme running through Vico and Malabuka's minds right now, but they have to stay focused.
We saw Vico saying a prayer before the game began. It looked like his prayers were answered. He just has to finish his part of the deal now and deliver the goods.
10 points separate what Vico and Malabuka are at now. And first place on that leaderboard. And if they can get that, close out the game, they would be your Major 1 Summit champions. But they still have so much competition to watch out for. But again, Levin, you said it yourself, there's room for so much shenanigans. Shark is gonna go down. Teeny's by himself. Yamzo and Josh are the ones hunting him down in Wonky Land.
They've had a rough go about the day, and they're looking to try and change their fate in the final hour here. A massive game is necessary for Zoe and Josh to bring this one back, but when they've taken out a priority fragger here at Wonky Land in his own backyard, Josh and Yamzo have the chance now to step it up.
And everybody's been bigging up these newer faces at the top of the EU mountain. But here in game number 8, nothing but struggles from our bright young stars. It's up to the experienced vets, the former champs, to try and show them how things are done.
Uh-oh. They know. They know. Right now, they already got that elimination onto Shark. They see a giant surge base at the top of Wonky Land. Typically, this is where you would see them, but they just can't find them.
They don't know, though. They have no idea that TD is still hidden, tucked away so discreetly inside of the safety of his surge base. But just one pinky toe out of line. That's all he's waiting for. The slightest opportunity. And if he can put down Zoe or Josh here in this moment, Darman Deemish might just choose to strike. They're going to be drawn to any sort of immediate battle because even the polls are aware of the fact that every singular point matters, not just for the prize pool, but for securing your place at Globals in top 15.
Yamzo and Josh will leave. And like you said, Taco, no clue in the world that Teeny was still right beneath them. And that room might just be enough for him to keep Shark in this game and keep their chances alive.
Peterbot and Pollo up above. No fast moves coming at him this time around. And it's just, the gap is that close that they don't really have to worry about it. And a lot of extra heals for Peterbot and Pollo. A whole pizza shop underneath. And Peterbot is the one really taking the role right now, being on top of that surge power. to take control of their Storm Surge.
It's the fact that Poyo had dropped everything in his loadout to just prioritize gathering as much resources as possible, taking them back to their Surge base because they know, they likely saw it in the elimination feed too. Shark is gone. Sky and Scroll fully eliminated. So many top contenders now left in a very awkward position, and so their best bet might just be to play to their strengths. And Levin, earlier on in the last lobby, you called out the fact they're a team that tends to heat up as the game goes on, and right now they're seemingly on fire. The only duo in this lobby to strike with 2 victory royales on the day.
Yeah, and they might just go for a third tackle. That's the type of form they're currently in. When you've got the greatest of all time, Peterbot, and he's not even the best player on his team right now. Poyo playing at unbelievable levels.
Acorn and Bolts see the strategy. They kind of mix together the Fizz Grenade, the Shockwave, and that long launch pad towards the back, kind of moving out of render distance for most players as they quickly try to make their way in zone, and that's been a focal part of their game plan today.
The best part about it is that because of the fact that Shark is no longer in this lobby, Teeny will have to wait around. Wonky is just too distracted, cannibalizing itself from the teams that made their entry points after the fact. And Darm Deemish, they're willing to stick it out. The vending machine camp out might just come to an end here for Yamso as he gets hunted out, fully ambushed.
Iyomzo loves that vending machine. We saw him run to it so many times today, so many times in the lower bracket yesterday, and here he is punished in this final game.
That information right there is huge. Teeny knows Yamso and Josh took down Shark. Now he knows Darman Demas just took down Yamso and Josh, so he knows it's still not safe to move out of there just yet.
And that sort of delay to his overall game strategy for Shark and Teeny in comparison to a team like Vico and Malabuka, who have the luxury of just playing out their full Storm potential. They are not in any sort of rush. They just have to keep their wits about them, keep their bearings. Vico always drawn back, I think, to that moment when he used to play with Pink. The loot's free, but this time he's much more reserved. He's much more composed, and he knows it's all about staying side by side with Malabuka to bring this one home.
When you have a player as talented as Vico, but as emotional as he can be, there is no better pairing than Malabuka. Stone cold, never too high, never too low. And against an on-fire Peterbot and Poyo, that is the temperament you need.
Pete Poyo just non-stop scanning into the horizon. It's going to be so difficult for Prakash and Hero to even make their way over that hill face. They are looking to fully lock them out the edge of zone.
Teeny has rebooted Shark, and so the marathon continues. Things aren't as easy as far as the pathway to a potential victory for these two as it is for others, but it certainly is not over. Shark has been one of the best players in the world this year, earning more and more, experiencing more and more, but he needs to be at his very best here in game number 8.
It almost feels like we're gonna have a lot of our top teams kind of stacked and positioned at the north side of the map. We got Acorn and Bolts. Just saw Peterbot and Poyo. We know Shark and Teeny are towards the north, along with Vico and Malabuka. So no matter where this zone goes, to the north or the south, there's a chance all of our top 5 remaining teams could come to a clash.
Shocking factor. Teams that have been performing the best in the lobby here today, now currently sitting in some of the best positions for this next zone. Pixie and Swizzy continuously looking back. They know that their destiny is fully under their control for Global Championship, but what they want is another step upwards. They need that top 5, even better still, maybe even dreams of top 3.
And this is the type of team that if you're one of those players fighting for the victory right now, you don't want these guys kicking it in the lobby. They are going to be a big threat. We have seen that We know P and Poyo like to play high. Shark and Teeny do too. Swizzy and Pixie are always going to be impactful in those fights. Still so much talent in this lobby that can play spoiler to any one of our top 4 teams.
You just got to keep in mind as well, we're so focused on first, rightfully so. That top 15 mark coming into this game is 214 points. Goes to show how stacked this leaderboard actually is on both ends of that spectrum.
And old grudges might be restored here depending on what happens next. Cooper, Reed, so close to where Ritual and Agers were just at. I know it's easy to kind of sort the difference before the day has started, but it's another affair entirely to kind of throw salt in the wounds and find yourself eliminated by the team that's been contesting you all weekend long. But first and foremost, Ritual Agers, they'll have to try and sort out what's directly in front of them because the lobby's closing in and their wiggle room is just so limited.
At points in today's competition, Shadow and Virgo look like the best representation NA was going to have. And while they've continued to fight and be a threat, this final game will be their biggest test. Will they stumble in the final hurdle? Will they continue to do what they have done and be a solid team in this lobby?
I like their thought process here. 104 below the damage threshold. Shockwaving through, could have instantly tried to fire off at anybody along that path, but they made it a focus. Get into the zone, get high ground, and that's going to be the best opportunity to get the damage that we need.
But the thing about Shadow and Virgo is they're not a duo that we often see struggling to maintain their surge threshold. So the fact that they find themselves in this position just underneath, UNDX going to solve that problem for them. A little bit of pressure alleviated, only 11 below, just one more tag necessary. They don't want to have to expend any of their Flowberry Mist Grenades so they can avoid it, but players are just refusing to budge. No one is giving an opening, and that goes back to the original point. It's difficult to find your marks.
15 to 68 to even finding elimination on the Minori. But Virgo takes a shot from above. All good things eventually come to an end, only spending a short moment on top of that Storm Surge. Now they quickly fall below. It's active as well. Every 7 seconds, 25 damage will get ticked to eventually taken out, not knocked altogether. Swizzy's feeling it as well. 193. Even worse though, Taco, because he's by himself.
And Swizzy's trying to do what he can to reserve those last couple of pizza slices, but the problem is the way that the lobby is folding into itself, it's just not going his direction. He doesn't have the openings he needs. He has to heal instead. Now chasing behind Jace, gets a big shot to open, but Jace is firing back. Swizzy got the knock, but he didn't get the finish, and he's out of here.
Look on board, Shark and Teeny. You almost would have never have guessed this team was almost an inch away from getting sent out of this lobby, but now they're back. 400 above the damage threshold. They have a little bit of high ground, and they've regained control of their own destiny.
It only makes sense for Game Mate to come down to a forest zone location. This is prime time territory for Shark and Teeny, and it also makes height all the more difficult to control. It's very obscured vision up amongst the treetops, and so for Malabuka and Vico, they're gonna stick to the low ground, but they're gonna wait for their moment to try and strike above.
But that'll be no problem for this duo. I mean, they've dominated the low ground at times today, comfortable on any layer, and that's what you need to be when you're fighting till the end.
Yeah, you gotta remember, it was Vico on day one that was leading the pack in terms of eliminations. 314 here. They're just taking it one step at a time. They realize with a leaderboard this stacked, all it takes is one misstep, one mistake to really cost you a chance at that first place. And even more so, there's over $1 million on the line in this tournament. Each and every placing, you almost lose thousands of dollars.
And for a duo like Peterbot and Poyo, mistakes are far and few in between. These last few lobbies, they have been going absolutely ballistic, and frontside control now seemingly about to belong exclusively to them. Virgo trying to see if he can make the wraparound, but the problem is he's 285 below. Even if he makes it towards a frontside position, he still has to look back, he still has to connect shots, and when you're a one-man operation, potentially clashing head-on with other duos, this could be the end of it all.
Oh no, a big shot again, falling further below the damage threshold. 18 HP. He needs more than a miracle here. He almost needs 3 eliminations worth of damage, and a lot of that is getting stolen away. Nearby, Peterbot and Poyo, 144 above the damage threshold for them. Poyo deserves all the flowers in the world with how he's been playing this weekend, really leading the team to the promised land.
Here we're looking at wraps right now for Virgo. One more tick unless he gets this shot in. Twy, though, gonna manage to just slip away, and Virgo won't be able to make it through. Twy and Cringe safe for the time being.
And even though we pull away from the treetops, you can see Shark and Teeny still want to play for height. They take Acorn down, and that is perfect for their standings. They take down the team, or one of the players of the team, just beneath them. And that leaves Bolts in an awkward position. Will they continue to play for it, or will Hari look to get involved?
You're really seeing the live leaderboard right there, update in real time, not just elimination, but placement points as well. Peterbot and Poyo find their first one of the game. Slow and steady wins the race, but they got quite a large gap to overcome here.
And this is where it becomes very challenging for Vico and Malabuka to keep their composure. You're seeing that elimination feed light up. You're witnessing Poyo and Peterbot, Shark and Teeny make their surge up, and yet you still have to try and play to your own strengths. You don't want to lose any sort of kind of coming in to swing it through. Vico and Malabuka, they've overtaken first.
This is a big moment for them because they cannot get lost. Taking first is not enough. They have to be able to hold it for the rest of this game. But another elimination from Vico has been found. First of the game for him, but he's diving deep into the zone to try to pick it up. Luckily for him, he does get the siphon.
The tournament is in their hands. There has never been a bigger moment in Vico's career, and this is his time to live up to that moment.
But he still has to deal with the likes of Poyo and Peterbot. He just has to play his own game. And from this frontside low position, everything seems achievable. Right now, they are leading the charge in the underground. So much space has been claimed. They keep continuously looking back. The pre-builds are established, but Peterbot's ready to fire off.
A battle for high.
The present! Poyo, once again, has to show why he has been the best player in this lobby all day long. Vico, with first place in his hands, Malabuka allowing him to lead the charge for a moment. This is the best case scenario for this duo.
This is it right here, though, because it's going to come at a point in time, Taco, where Vico and Malabuka just stay alive. It's going to be mathematically impossible.
And Malabuka, Vico, though, they know exactly what it takes in these final moments. They're ready to bring it up. Malabuka goes big time. There's the knot. Vico with the finish and the siphon for HP. Vico, go! Vico, go! Every single part of the way.
They can do it. They are beginning to run away from it. And now 40-point gap. Winning the game for Peterbot and Poyo is not going to be enough because they are bulldozing their way through the competition. But Malabuka goes down. Vico left by himself. He just needs to stay alive long enough.
Vico, he's no stranger to a solo situation, and he'll look to hit even more shots and completely run away with the competition. Cammy is in his sights, but he just has to connect with the crucial shot. Running it in and out of the zone, it's Vico, it's Vico, it's for Vico!
It's it right there, though. Poyo's still alive as a solo. I'm not sure what the point gap actually is, if he needs all the eliminations, if he needs the victory royale, but if there's one person this weekend that proved he will not go down without a fight, it's this man here, proving that maybe chickens can't fly.
And all Poyo has to do is see if he can get the first bit of confirmation. Epic and Pop underneath. Poyo, can he do it a third time? But it's a matchup. Epic will and Pop hold it through. Poyo doesn't get
They have done it. Vico and Malabuka. They stayed alive in that last game. They got eliminations. They immediately destroyed the rest of the lobby. This is their moment. This is their chance. Vico and Malabuka, you are the champions.
And just like that, history has been made. Vico and Malabuka are going to bring home the title of Summit Land Champions, securing their spot at the Global Championship 2. But that trophy, it belongs exclusively to Vico and Malabuka.
Go ahead, guys. Lift that trophy. You are champions!
Crowd were chanting your name, Vico. What an experience to finally win an FSCS LAN and to do it with a crowd that loved you.
I mean, what can I say, right? I promised my mom I was gonna win this year, and I mean...
And she's watching you right now. Is there anything you want to say to her?
I'm gonna say it on German. Mama, ich hab's geschafft. Ich bin der beste Spieler der Welt.
She's been at your side for so many years. We've watched you grow from a teenager into a champion. And Malabuka last year 8th at Globals. It wasn't enough for you, was it?
Yeah, well, I didn't stop at this. I got Vico as my teammate, and we just did everything. I couldn't have asked for a better teammate.
And the two of you, it's like your opposites. Vico, you can see this man, he's so hyped all the time, even when you don't win. You cool, calm and collected, but has this man changed you?
He did change me. He did change me a lot because I really love to play with him. He just makes the game feel easier for me.
And seeing the two of you together, Vico, you can see that crowd. They want a word with you. I want this man to see this crowd and to give them a message, Vico. What would you like to say to them?
Danke für deinen Support, Düsseldorf. Ich hätte es niemals geschafft, dass ich das hier treffe! Let's go!
Vico loves this crowd, and we love you guys, Vico and Malabuka. Please take your positions. Please, Düsseldorf, one more time. Your first ever FSCS Major 1 Summit champions. It's Vico and Malabuka.
Oh my gosh, Fortnite fans! They have done it! Vico Malabuka, come down here! Come down, bring that trophy, don't forget it, come on! I cannot believe it. Vico and Malabuka. Your champions, you can hear them celebrating. This way! This way! He's celebrating with a bar! I cannot believe it. The way Amar feels right now is the way we do as well. Crowd, make some more noise! Let them hear you! Your champions. Malabuka, Vico.
Sorry, this
Yeah.
trophy's really heavy.
It's so heavy.
I know.
Did you want to take the crown off it? You know,
I was
just
trying
turn
to.
it. You just turn it.
I just turn it.
The little top here, the little bit right here. There you go. Now pull it off.
I'm so bad at this.
It's okay. You're probably shaking. Everything's
so
okay.
He's shaking.
I'm so shaking.
It's okay. Yesterday,
Nice.
there it is. You can.
To the real king. To the one and only GOAT. This is all. Let's get it one more time for Manny Buka. You're the man. You're the greatest, bro.
Congratulations to you guys. You know, I think the best way I feel like I can summarize this moment is what Frankie actually said. We've watched you guys grow up. To see you guys be in this position, to show up in Germany, to fight through everything that you guys have fought through, to target, hey, there's this new thing, this summit, we're fighting with everything we had. Was there ever a moment in your mind you thought like, we can't do this? Or was it the whole time you just kept pushing those thoughts out and you thought, we just have to win?
I can't lie. After game true GOAT, I think the greatest player I've ever played duels with and in my entire career. You know, he got my mind back to it and said, it doesn't matter, there's still 4 games left. You know, Madly said one thing going into game 5. He said, it doesn't matter how the start goes, it's about how you end it. And we ended with a bang!
Malibuga, obviously, he's giving you such high praise. To hear your dual mate say that, to hear the way this crowd went crazy, to see Amar run up and give you guys a massive hug, how does that feel?
I'm just playing with the best fragger in the world. Like, I couldn't have asked for a better teammate, as I said before.
You're a glazer, no?
Guys,
I'm not a glazer.
you gotta stop crying.